Tracy Twyman tonight, who is my executive producer, is in studio. And if you remember, when was it? It was a few weeks ago. We did your story about your new book called Clock Shavings.
Right.
And it was that book that started it off. And what it was is that you were doing, well, it was kind of like back, the Nine. There was a group called the Nine.
Right.
There were a group of elite, rich, people in the United States that wanted to do a seance to find out something about the future. And you decided you want to do something similar with a secret society of your own, right?
Well, the secret society pre-existed the Ouija board seances, and it was mainly just the organization that was publishing the magazine we were doing at the time, Dagobert's Revenge. And we were doing research into the esoteric secrets of the Holy Grail and the secret societies associated with that, related to the Knights Templar and things like that.
So you're using the Ouija board as a tool for research?
Yes, that was how the whole thing started. We started talking to Jean Cocteau, who was an artist who may have been involved in a secret society related to the Grail. So we started talking to him literally just one night, because he had been doing that table rapping that you talked about. When he was alive, this artist from the early 20th century, when he was alive, he used to do table rapping. So we thought, well, maybe we'll get some insight into our research by talking to him. And like I said before, he had some stuff to say, but he kind of indicated that we were barking up the wrong tree and we should really talk to someone else. And that's when he referred us to Cain, or the Black Sun, as he called him. And we're literally talking about Cain from the Bible. And that's when I started getting some really interesting results. And actually, the first time we contacted Cain was, I think, Halloween of 2001. Mm-hmm. So then, we talked to Cain for a long time. I mean, over the next couple of years, we had several sessions, and I had transcripts and videos of that. And then, eventually Cain told us that we needed to talk to Baphomet about some of the things that we were asking, which, is the demon that the Knights Templar back in the crusading times used to, worship in secret ceremonies. And the whole thing came out when they were persecuted for blasphemy and heresy by the papacy a little bit later. So anyway, we got all sorts of information from Cain, not only about the Grail research we were doing, but all sorts of stuff about the Bible. He would give us different versions of Bible stories. He told us about the fall of Atlantis, and told us about the secrets of chess and the origins of that. And then eventually he told us that, actually, we were asking, you were mentioning earlier how some people use the Ouija board to try to get money. Well, at the time, my husband and I, the previous husband I used to have, his name was Brian, we were having money problems, And so one time we just decided to ask Cain if he could help us figure it out, because it almost seemed like we were cursed. We just couldn't seem to get ahead at all. Mm-hmm. And I just figured, since Cain is a discarnate spirit, I'll talk to him about it. And sure enough, he says, actually, yes, you're cursed. You're cursed by Baphomet. And it turned out he said that Baphomet was punishing us because I said I was going to, there was a friend of mine who was trying to publish a book. I had promised the guy that I would help him. Mm-hmm. And then I had forgotten about it. So we were told that Baphomet was punishing us because we had failed to do this thing for our friend. And supposedly Baphomet had some interest in this book that I was supposed to help publish. Mm-hmm. And so then, I don't know, then actually it seemed like Baphomet had even more to say, and was even more helpful to us than Cain. So we talked to him pretty much from that point onward. And some of the interesting things that came out of that, he dictated a new Ouija board design to my husband, Brian, which we're going to be using tonight. I've been using it ever since. It's the most unique Ouija board I think you'll ever find. Mm-hmm. And it's really kind of made in the likeness of a Masonic tracing board, although we didn't realize that at the time. But it very much resembles like the opening to a Masonic lodge. So in a way, I think it's more of a portal even than the regular Ouija boards that people buy. It actually has a circle in the middle and then these two pillars on either side sort of marking the entrance to the other world. And so, I had all sorts of experiences with Baphomet. Every year on Halloween, we would always get our best results. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was about Halloween, but we asked him at one point, we actually said, is there something special about Halloween or the date? We asked, does it have to do with the fact that it's the number 31 and it's the reversal of 13? because he had emphasized the number 13 before. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he just said, yes, the number 13 is holy, and this day is holy. Now, holy to who? I don't know. Is it holy to God? I'm not sure, but to Baphomet, it was holy. And let's see, he dictated some rituals for us to do. He really taught us magic. You know,
Right.
I was, of course, a student of the occult. I read a lot of books about the occult, but I never started doing any rituals or trying to make anything happen until Baphomet told us specifically what to do, and we acted out those rituals. And, you know, from further research, it turned out that everything he told us to do was common practice in ritual magic. So, yeah, it's really, to me, it was almost like a sholomance, which I've used that term when talking to you before, I know. A sholomance is what is mentioned in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Supposedly, Dracula was a part of this school that was taught directly by the devil. So every year there would be these students, 13 of them, that would come and to learn magic directly from the devil, but only one of them would graduate every year. And they supposedly they call it riding the dragon when you graduate from sholomance. So I felt like this was a sholomance in that we were learning magic directly from Baphomet, who, you know, at least in the popular consciousness now is very much synonymous with the devil, because the tarot card with the picture of the devil on it was basically based on Eliphas Levi's depiction of Baphomet. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. It's, you know, you've got a hermaphroditic human body with male and female organs, and then there's a goat head on top of it. So if you've seen that, that's Baphomet.
Did you ever think it was dangerous to even come close to having the communication with Baphomet? Did you feel like you were getting near danger? Because it seems that, you know, you open yourself up to all kinds of spirits, not just dead ones or ones that are just coming through, but other ones like Baphomet or even Cain, which are important names in the scheme.
Well, you know, I think after having done it for several years, I started to get nervous about it. I stopped doing it for a few years, and mainly it was because I really took it very deep. You know, we had this relationship with these spirits. Excuse me. They were doing, like I said, they were telling us what to do. We were doing projects for them. You know, the order, the secret society that I was a part of, we basically made Baphomet the head of that. Mm-hmm. And he would tell us what to do all the time. And so, you know, I found myself so busy with projects that Baphomet had told me to do. I just kind of got sick of that. I felt used. And so I did discontinue my relationship for a while. But really, and eventually I decided to go back and just, because it was such a good source of information. So every now and then I still do seances, but I don't take orders from these spirits anymore. And it's just a source of information. But as far as the danger is concerned, honestly, that's the worst that's ever happened. And it's really my fault. I let myself get sucked in. You know, I let myself become a servant. But, you know, that's not the way it always has to be. And that's not the way it's been for years. So nothing else really scary has happened. And I think that people are a little bit too scared of this. It's just really not that scary. It's fun. It's interesting.
It's interesting, yeah, especially when you're doing it for research purposes. And that's the only reason why I would use a Ouija board anymore. I'm not there to ask when grandma's going to die or when somebody's going to die. I'm there to ask questions that are very smart questions that are important for the world, for life. Tonight on Ground Zero, Tracy Twyman's here. We're going to be using that new Ouija board tonight. We're going to try and contact the spirit. And by the way, we're going to make it so people will be able to observe in safety tonight. We're already anointing. Actually, the board is already being washed and cleansed as we speak. And there will be also a ritual that we'll do in private to open the board to light and not darkness. We'll be back with more. Keep it here on Ground Zero.
Everyone is in on the secrets, and big things are being planned. Call Clyde Lewis now. Ground Zero.
I know arguably people say that Ouija boards are dangerous. I say they're not dangerous. I say that if you use your head and you use them correctly. In fact, just prior to having Tracy come in and talk about her sessions that she's had in the past, you were putting something on the board to cleanse it. What were you doing? What were you doing to the board?
This is Rose of Sharon oil holy oil that I got from a Catholic supply store. So I was anointing the board basically at the four corners you were mentioning.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I put little crosses on each of the points of the compass on the board. I also did that in this room here before we came into the studio.
You did in the four corners.
I did it with holy water.
So instead of watchers, we have holy water at the four corners to protect us from the infernal demons.
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly. And there's, the four watchers are like, what is it? Raphael and Michael, and there's four archangels basically that are the watchers that will protect you from those four demons that you were mentioning earlier, Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was just trying to, not only is it protecting you, but it's also designating the space, basically.
Right.
There's something called a nematon.
Right.
The sacred space. When you choose to do some sort of ritual where you're contacting the other side, you kind of have to make the place that you're at a portal to the other world.
Exactly.
And really, the room itself becomes the other world. It's a contact point.
Well, it's like you've seen in our office. You've seen the V domes that I have in the office. They're these wooden ornaments that I have. One at my desk and one is on the other side near Wes's desk.
Okay, yeah.
Those are protection posts to guard the corners.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
we have them. They're available at the Western Way Institute, but they were given to us by a Rosicrucian high priest or a magus.
Wow.
And so we have them in the studio in that area to protect us as well. So we have protection posts in some places where we broadcast and where we do our things, so that we're always protected.
That's good, because just some of the things that we do in that room, just the research and the audio editing, all the creepy things we get into.
Yes.
So we need that. So I designated the sacred space in the studio itself, making this essentially a ritual room for tonight's purposes. And then the board itself, I did the same thing because it is the same thing. It is a representation, as I said, of a Masonic lodge and the portal that's within a Masonic lodge to the other side. Exactly. So, and I really only realized this recently because we had a seance with Cain maybe 2 months ago. My husband and I, Hareth, who's coming in tonight. Mm-hmm. And we noticed during that seance that he was visiting the four corners of the board repeatedly, and then he kept going around in a circle on the letters, just because we have on my Ouija board, we have the letters arranged in a circle, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so he kept doing the circle and then the four corners. And I realized after a while, it was like he was doing an opening to a ritual right there. And I asked him, are you trying to open a portal to the other world? Because he is in the underworld, and everyone who's in the underworld really wants to be out. And so I said, are you trying to get out and come here? And he said yes. And then he got really, I would say, uncooperative for a while. He wouldn't answer our questions because he was mad that we had interrupted what he was trying to do.
The way you can tell if a spirit has a propensity for evil on the board, and this is well known, and many agree that when you have the planchette moving erratically on the board, as you explained, and then to the four corners of the board, the spirit is more likely evil. Now, I don't know what's going to happen now that you've put crosses of holy water on each corner. Mm-hmm. He probably, if there's anything evil that's going to come on the board tonight, it may not be able to take refuge in the four corners. If the four corners have been protected, which they have with holy water, there is no way that we're going to have a spirit that is evil go absolutely crazy in here, because we've taken the precautions. Now, if it does happen, we could have flickering lights, we could have heat changes, cool changes, we could have all sorts of things going on in the room. We could have computers fail us, we could have whatever getting our attention, but it's never going to go beyond the board.
That's the idea, is just to keep them within the board. I can't say that nothing scary will happen. I mean, it depends on how scared you are.
Yeah.
But
and not only that, but see, that means we keep the demon or whatever it is, what spirit it may be, on the board, and everybody out there listening will not have that get into their homes.
No, I saw some people on Facebook saying they were afraid of getting possessed by listening to it, and I really don't think that's going to happen. I've never even gotten possessed, and I've been doing this for years.
Well, no, it can happen if we've got all the four corners covered with holy water. We've got the four corners of the board covered with. We got double protection now.
Right.
So it will not escape this room. If it does escape this room, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it'll happen either. 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. You heard Tracy say that she's anointed the board with holy water on the four corners, which protects us from infernal demons and keeps the action on the board. Also, the four corners of this studio have been also protected with holy water. So we may see some action inside our studio, but nothing outside the radio. We'll be back.
Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis.
888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. Coming up, you may even want to have some questions for our mediums tonight. Tracy Twyman, of course, is the medium on the board tonight, and she will be accompanied by Harith. And we know Harith. He's been on the show a long time ago. He was on the program, but Harith, in this capacity, it's a different capacity for you, isn't it?
Correct.
You are here as a co-medium in the process tonight. Tell us about the board and tell us about the experience of making the board under the direction of the spirits.
First of all, it's nice to be on your show once again, Clyde, and I thank you for that. The board, when we're speaking about the board, is not just like a board. It's kind of like a holy architecture. It's a portal. It has a life by its own. It's magic. If you can tap into it and it accepts you, it will influence your mental state, what you call a trance or so forth. But also that you could delve into kind of information that and get information that you never heard about before from the pre-human history. There is this kind of uncanny influence you feel out of it, in contrast to any kind of like the regular Ouija boards, because this board was channeled by a friend of mine and specifically designed with certain symbols, certain way of how the letters are laid out, and even the more of a symbols that represents different kind of orders throughout the history. The more that you play, the more that you access this board, play on it, the more that it reveals itself to you.
So it has a personality of its own. It's
Yes.
unique in its construction.
It's alive in a sense.
You said to me as we were preparing, you said it was a portal. It was definitely something that was meant to be a portal, and it will be a portal once the spirits of the board are addressed.
Correct. The many nights when myself and Tracy, we were trying to get answers from the other sides. There's a strange movement, like the spirits will move the token over here in a strange way, with like kind of a geometry. We keep thinking, what's going on over here? What's going on over here? Then suddenly we could tell that the spirits are trying to activate it, so they somehow come to our world. We didn't let that happen. We didn't allow it to happen, and I don't know if you want to risk it or not, but I imagine the outcome of the activating this board is something severe.
So the severe nature of the activation of the board, it will remain here. It will not escape into the radios because of the fact that we have cleansed the board in the corners. Tracy has cleansed the board in the corners with holy water. She says she's also cleansed the other corners. So all the intensity will be between you and her. The intensity will be right there in that general area. Am I correct?
That's what I'm assuming.
Okay. You're assuming that.
Yes.
Okay, Harith. We'll take your word for that. I appreciate it. Coming up in the next hour, Harith and Tracy will be here to, we're going to do the demonstration of this board that was constructed, channeled. Actually, a spirit told them this is a better board. It will open a portal. As you heard what Harith said, the intensity will be more severe, especially as they are on the board, getting the power and getting the information. They'll be sending that to you. We have taken precautions to keep everything within the studio. We've got the corners set. They have been set with holy water and cleansed. We have cleared the area, and we have ritualized the room to keep the light in and to keep the intensity between Harith and Tracy upon the board only. So if you're observing tonight, you will be observing, and if you have any questions, we will be screening the questions that will be for content, but we will make sure, hopefully, that we get the questions quietly to the mediums tonight. So stay tuned. More to come right here on Ground Zero. Don't go away.
It's essential to who we are. spoke up and said, the loudspeaker spoke up and said, did you hear that? Give up. Give up. Give up. Give up. Give up.
I'm Clyde Lewis, and this is Ground Zero. Tonight is our special Halloween program, and I must tell you that if you want a front row seat to looking at this board that was constructed under the direction of Spirit, you'll want to go to TeslaWolfMedia.com. It's only 99 cents to purchase the television broadcast. It's on the air right now. And we have right now the camera focused directly on the board, so you will be seeing this in real time. I can't tell you how. I mean, they're the other side of the room right now, and I can watch this from where I'm sitting in my vantage point. I can see the board where they're at. I can see a close up of the board. You can see them moving across the board and getting it warmed up for tonight. So I urge all of you that if you have a computer, go to TeslaWolfMedia.com. That's TeslaWolfMedia.com. Get involved in the chat room. You got chat room also available to you. And there is also a close-up of this board. Now, I want to tell everybody again, and Tracy, let's reiterate this. Harith had told us before the break that this board was actually the construction of this board was given to you by a spirit. Am I correct?
It was given to me, or it was given to my previous husband, actually, Brian, who I started all this stuff with. And yeah, he just designed it. One morning I woke up, it was the morning after one of our Ouija sessions, and I found him about 3 a.m. on the computer designing some graphic. And I said, "What are you doing, man?" And he said, I woke up, I was inspired, and I started making this. Mm-hmm. And it is, like I said, it's the most unique Ouija board I think you'll ever find. It's got the houses of the zodiac on it around the letters,
including Ophiuchus, which I find interesting. I see the Ophiuchus symbol there.
Yes, it's the 13-house zodiac.
Yeah, 13-house zodiac. So the 13-house Mazzaroth right there on the cover there. Okay, and you have the sun in the middle.
Well, is
that the sun?
That's a 13-sided star, and there's a 26-sided star inside of it because Baphomet, who we had been talking to, emphasized the importance that there's 26 letters to the alphabet, which is 2 times 13. So, and then the alphabet is arranged in the Atbash cipher, which is a cipher associated with Baphomet and the Knights Templar. When you run, it's the cipher in which you cut the alphabet in half and then turn it inwards so that A is Z and B is Y and things like that.
Now, to those who are watching, explain the other symbols. There are other symbols that are familiar to some. There's the pentacle. I see a pentacle there, or a pentagram.
Yeah, there's a hexagram on the left side and a pentagram on the right side. There, on either side, as I said before, there's the pillars of Yakin and Boaz, which are the pillars on the outside of Solomon's temple in the Bible, and also they're always featured on the outside of a Masonic lodge.
They're also on the High Priestess card of the tarot deck.
Exactly, yes. Okay. And then on a normal Ouija board, you have the sun and the moon, so we have that, but the sun is black. And that is because Cain, one of the spirits we contacted, was identified with the black sun. That's one of the nicknames he called himself. So, we have that. And then at the bottom, you talked about the importance of saying goodbye at the end of a session. Well, we don't have goodbye. We have the abyss. We have the waters of the abyss represented at the bottom of the board. So when they go away, they go down to the abyss again.
So you send them back to the abyss.
Exactly.
That's still, that's still worthy because it's either farewell, goodbye, or back to the abyss you go.
Right.
Back to the abyss you go and not come back. And so, I'm just marveled at, on television. I'm looking at it right now on Tesla Wolf Media. On television right now, this is the most remarkable thing I've ever seen.
Thank you.
And so, I can't see it. It doesn't do justice. I can't see it from the other side of the room, but I can see from where I'm here, how, wonderful this is. Now, how we begin this, we're going to begin it first of all. Now while we were waiting for the break, we've already done the ritualizing of keeping all the things on the board between you and Harith. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's the first part. We brought Wes Scottco in to be the scribe tonight. He will scribe what's being said. And you begin with, I guess what we call this, the scripture that sets the mood for the setting tonight. And so you open the Bible, you found there was a random scripture that came out of the Bible that you read that I want the audience to hear. Okay. So I want you to go back to that scripture again.
Sure.
From the Bible. And I want you to read that scripture, please, so that everyone knows that this sets the tone for tonight's session with this remarkable board that was constructed under channeling of the Spirit. Here we go.
Okay, so this is Ezekiel, chapter 32, 12 through 14 is what my eyes were attracted to when I randomly turned onto this page. So it begins, excuse me. For thus saith the Lord God, the sword of the king of Babylon shall come upon thee. By the swords of the mighty will I cause thy multitude to fall, the terrible of the nations, all of them, and they shall spoil the pomp of Egypt, and all the multitude thereof shall be destroyed. I will destroy also all the beasts thereof from beside the great waters. Neither shall the foot of man be troubled any more, nor the hoof of beasts trouble them.
Very an apocalyptic scripture to start things off tonight. I think that's going to set the stage for some interesting future commentary, I believe.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that the meaning of it isn't apparent to us right now, but hopefully it will become apparent either through the session, or a lot of these things don't even really make sense until you have time to meditate on it days later.
I've never had, though, in my history, I've never had a scripture to set the stage. We've always had a prayer, or we've opened it to light, but to have a scripture set the stage and have it be a random scripture that we just open the Bible, and there it is. We look at a scripture and we read it. The first one that we see on the page, we read, which is amazing. And this is the one you decided that you found at random that was there, that you glanced at and you read it.
It's another form of divination, really. It's called bibliomancy, and you can do it with the Bible or any book.
Can I see that book? I'd like to read it again, just so we can set this even more. I mean, we have some time to do this, and I hope my eyes aren't bad here. Maybe my eyes are bad here.
On the left side, I think line 12.
Left side, line 12?
Or 11 through 13, maybe it was? Is that right?
Is it 11 through 13?
It starts, for thus saith the Lord God.
Okay, let's see if I can see this here. It says, for thus saith the Lord God, the sword of the king of Babylon shall come upon thee. By the swords of the mighty will I cause thy multitude to fall, the terrible of nations, all of them, and they shall spoil the pomp of Egypt, and I will destroy, this is really small print, I don't know how you can read this. I will destroy also all the beasts thereof from beside the great waters, neither shall the foot of the man trouble them any more, and the hoofs of beasts trouble them. Interesting. See, and that's the thing, is I'm going to say this now, that this is a Bible in very small print. That's why it was hard for me to read it. Because, I'm wearing glasses and it's very dark in the room. So to have me read this and to have you read this and just see it at random is a form of divination.
Yeah.
It is amazing. So,
and it's a form of divination that a lot of people have used. I use it all the time in my writing because, when you're doing research, sometimes you get stuck, and this will just, put you right where you need to be.
So this sets the stage for what is to come, ladies and gentlemen. So the scripture that you heard, most definitely, we're going to leave it open. You mind if I leave it here?
No, that's fine.
You need it for the session.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm putting the Bible right here next to me. Safety reasons. You gotta have the Bible near me. Bible stays here. We have it open. The scripture is open here. And let's see. So what I want to do is I guess we can begin now, and we'll have to go through breaks and everything else. And I'll tell you about when we're going to a break. But in the meantime, I suppose you can start, and then I'll look over some of the questions if there's any that are coming from the audience, and I'll pose them to you as well. So we're going to begin this now.
Okay. What we're doing right now is we just put our hands on the planchette, which we're actually using a CD, a blank CD, and we're just stirring up the energies. We started off pushing it, but now we're not. So we're just kind of getting things started here. And we're going to talk to Baphomet tonight. Baphomet, you've heard the show. You know we're gearing up to talk to you. Are you there? Yes. And he went to there's a chessboard in the corner, the bottom corner. Yes. No. Baphomet, are you excited to talk to us tonight? Yes. And he went to the letter N. K. Yes. All right. Tonight, Baphomet, you are on the radio with thousands of people, many thousands. So we really need you to give us the best answers tonight. Can you give us clear English and directly address our questions, please? Yes. Okay. Oh, he's going around in circles. So tonight, Baphomet, I want to talk to you about the gates of hell. I have heard that they were opened recently. Is that true? Yes, it went there very fast. Okay, and then it just zipped to the middle of the board. Okay, so the gates of hell are, how long ago did the gates of hell open? 4, 9, T, A, I, O. Okay, we really need you to be clear. How long ago did the gates of hell open? He went to the hexagram and then to the abyss down below. Are the demons coming out of hell now? No. What does it mean then if the gates of hell are open? R, I, G, H, T, P, U, D, S. Right? Okay. Please don't be vulgar on the air. Baphomet, what does it mean that the gates of hell have opened? Tell us again in clear English. Yes. K, O, S, O, P, A, O, U, I, V. Okay, I'm going to stop there. You need to tell us English words, please. No code. We want to hear in English what is happening right now with the gates of hell. P, U, P, S. Pups? Yes. What do you mean pups? Yes. Are you talking about puppies? Yes. Like dogs? Yes. What does that mean? D, O, S, N, O, S, A, W.
Dogs of war. Dogs of war.
A, R.
Dogs of war.
Oh man, I am getting chills. Dogs of war, you say? Yes.
Dogs of war.
Did you have an observation there, Wes? Okay, so he said dogs of war. What does that mean? Yes. Okay, we're going to a commercial break.
Yes, we are.
Baphomet.
We're going to go to a break.
Yes.
Baphomet talked about the gates of hell opening. He's mentioned pups, as in young dogs, puppies. And then he spelled out the words dogs of war, to be clear. Dogs of war, hell's gates open, dogs of war. And, of course, we had the scripture that set the stage for all this. It's remarkable at the beginning, right here on Ground Zero. 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700 tonight. If you want to see this board, it's an amazing board. If you want to watch a front row seat, TeslaWolfMedia.com. It's only 99 cents. Otherwise, listen tonight. A lot of information coming from Baphomet with Harith and Tracy Twyman right here on Ground Zero. We'll be back.
Back to Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis on FM News 101.
This is not a test. It is the future. Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis.
Sit on Ground Zero is the experiment. Using the Ouija board that Harth and Tracy Twyman we were doing have constructed under the direction of the spirits. What's interesting is that we did some research on 49 Tao, which led us to a website, which is a German website, talking about chaos demons, which I thought was interesting. Chaos demons released. So 49 chaos demons apparently is what Baphomet's talking about, and the dogs of war. So the dogs of war, the chaos demons, those are some of the indicators we have. And so we continue with this with Tracy Twyman and Harth. Go right ahead.
Okay, I think he wants to correct that. He keeps going to the word no.
No?
As you were saying, interpreting the dogs of war, and then he's going to the chessboard. The reason why we have a chessboard on the board is because both Cain and Baphomet have told us about the origins of chess, and they said that it's based on the war in Eden, basically the war between God and the devil, and that it was a real war and fought with swords and axes, basically between the light and the dark sides. Is that correct? Yes. So when you're talking about the dogs of war, are you talking about the war between the angels and the demons? No. What kind of war? Yes. M-O-K-Q. No, come on. English. Dogs of war. What does it mean? A. J. H. A. G. O. L. A. Okay, the only word I saw was hag. Is that what you meant to say? Yes. Are you calling someone a hag? Yes. Who's a hag? T. R. A. C. Y. That's very rude. Yes. I'm a hag? Yes. I'm only 36. Yes. Why are you calling me a hag? G. O. D. O. R. E. L. Q. God or ELQ? Yes. What is ELQ? He's not settling on a letter yet. What is ELQ? God or what? A. O. N. Yes. Did you mean to spell the word aeon?
ELQ means one God.
What?
ELQ means one God. It's the Shema, the first commandment of the 1 Corinthians. ELQ means one God. God or ELQ, God or one God.
Yes, he says.
That's exactly what it means.
Yes, he says.
One God, ELQ.
Yes.
Kek appears more often in the
yes.
Yeah, okay. That's exactly. God or one God. God or one God. That's what he was trying to say. We'll be back.
No.
We'll be back with more. Keep it here on Ground Zero. This is interesting. We'll be right back.
Back to Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis on FM News 101.
During the break, we were able to find out what the God and ELQ mean. This was something that was that Tracy had talked about. I found a book called The Shema and the First Commandment in the 1 Corinthians. And this is a book by Eric Whaler. God or ELQ. It's God, ELQ, and then Greek letters. It says it appears a lot in old scriptures. It is a critique against polytheism and idolatry, and it affirms that there is one God and one source for both Muslims, Jews, and Christians, and that this God, when referred to as the ELQ, is actually a reference to God in terms of Muslim, Jewish, Christian, and the fearing and revering of God in times of war, as Jews, Muslims, and Christians gathered together at the Temple Mount for war.
Well, that's exactly what...
Hold on a second. Go ahead. What's that?
It just goes along with the conversation, doesn't it? I mean, we asked about the gates of hell opening.
Right.
The scripture right before we started was really about war, holy war.
The God of the Muslims, the Jews, and the Christians condemns murder, impiety, false testimony, idolatry, theft, greed, and adultery. And but it's definitely a testament to God's oneness and for the three monotheistic religions to gather together at the Temple Mount for war. It's amazing.
Okay, so I think we should... You mentioned abomination of desolation.
Yeah, that's what that is, right? The war where the Muslims, the Christians, and the Jews gather at the Temple Mount, because that's where all of them intersect.
And there's the abomination of desolation specifically is when the Antichrist sets his own image up in the temple to be worshipped.
In the third temple after the Al-Aqsa Mosque is destroyed.
Right. So I think we should ask, Harth.
I wonder who destroys the mosque. You should ask who destroys the mosque.
I don't know. All right. Look, are you ready to continue?
No?
No? All right.
Okay, here we go. They're starting up again.
We're starting again. So,
who destroys the mosque, Baphomet? I want to know.
Who destroys the mosque to start the third temple? Yes. M-O-S-Q-U-E.
Mosque.
S-U-V-R-U-T-A-U.
Sarutau?
Does that spell anything, Wes?
Sarutau? Don't know. What do you got?
Mosque.
It spelled the mosque, and then it said something else.
Okay.
Didn't spell anything?
All right, well, okay.
Who destroys the mosque?
Who destroys the mosques? The mosque, Al-Aqsa. S-O-S. Is that a distress call? N-I-P-S-O-C-D. P. Q. Baphomet, please speak English. Tell us about the destruction of the mosque and the creation of the third temple at the end of times. Yes. K-O-A-S.
Chaos.
K-O-A-S. Do you mean to say chaos? Yes. Okay. What kind of chaos are you describing? O-P. C? Yes. What does OPC stand for? Yes. O. P. E. N. Open what? P. O. R. T. A. L. Yes. Open portal? Yes. What kind of portal? A. N. T. A and T. H. O. N. P.
You know what OPC stands for?
What does OPC stand for?
Orthodox Presbyterian Church.
Is that true?
It's an acronym.
Yes. Is that what you meant? Yes. Why would you talk about the Orthodox Christian Church? Yes. O. F. O. B, R, O, A.
The Eastern Orthodox Church and the Oriental Orthodoxy is tied to the Orthodox Presbyterians.
Yes. N,
Greek Orthodox.
N, A, O, wait, P. Yes.
The Orthodox Church is covered in the Slavic languages Ukraine, Bulgaria, Russia, Serbia, Macedonia, Montenegro. Old Church Slavonic, word derives from the Slavonic roots. To glorify, in effect, meaning the right way to praise God.
Say that again?
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
The Eastern Orthodox faith, or the Eastern Orthodox Presbyterian, or the Oriental Orthodoxy. These branches of Christianity use the term orthodoxy from the Greek orthos, doxa, meaning correct opinion, or the correct way to praise God, the right way to praise God. Both the Eastern Orthodoxy Presbyterian say, we believe, we confess, we await the second coming. And that's about all I got.
Okay. Obviously we have the words open portal here too. Mm-hmm. And then there was Anthon, Anthon. I don't know, or maybe he was trying to spell a word that starts with those letters. Yeah.
Anthony?
I don't know why he'd be talking about Anthony. But, well, there's saints named Anthony, so maybe
yes, there's Saint Anthony. With that. Saint Anthony. Who knows?
Were you trying to talk about, were you saying the name Anthony? Yes. What about Anthony? Yes. K-O-A-S. Why do you keep, 0, okay. Yes. K-O-A-S. 0. Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
N. U. R. K. Yes. I want to talk more about this portal opening. What portal? Portal to what? Yes. K. O. A. S. 0. Are you talking about a portal to the underworld, to the chaos of the underworld? Yes. Is that bringing the chaos to earth? Yes. Has that already happened? Yes. When did it start? Yes. 8. 3. Yes. And then he goes down to the abyss. Yes. The abyss? Yes. Are you speaking to us from the abyss? Yes. Are all the demons still down there? No. Are some of them free on earth now? Yes. Have a lot of demons been released into the earth lately? Yes. Does any of this explain what is happening in Iraq and Syria right now? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What interest do you have? What is the demonic connection with what's happening in Iraq and Syria right now? He goes to the black sun. And he goes down to the abyss again. And he went to the center. And to the abyss again. Okay. Where is this portal that you were talking about? The open portal. Where is it on earth? The sun. The black sun? Where is it? Is there a portal open on earth? Yes. Where? R. O. I. N. P. Yes.
Which city?
Can you give us the name of a city where the portal is? Yes. What's the name of the city? R. O. Q. Did you mean to say R-O-Q? Yes.
R-O-Q.
Do you mean rock? Yes.
Iraq.
Do you mean Iraq? Yes.
Iraq.
Where in Iraq? Yes. 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 Okay, where? K-O-A-S. And then the abyss. Okay. So yes, there is chaos in Iraq. Where's the portal? Q-L. Okay, yes. Why were you calling me a hag before? Yes. Yes. Well, you talked about the one God. How do you feel about God? Yes. Are you at war with God? Yes. What's the war about? Yes. What's this war over? Yes. What's the war between you and God about?
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
What, Clyde?
Oh my gosh. There are several suggestions. This is mythology. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
There are several mythologies that suggest that there is a stargate or portal in the Sumerian city of Uruk or Iraq.
Wasn't he spelling that? Okay.
U-R-U-K. U-R-U-K. And that is a suggestion is that Iraq comes from those words.
Yes, I remember reading
portal,
that.
Meaning portal.
The word means portal?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Just that Iraq, okay, the original words, okay, Iraq, the word Iraq
Comes from Uruk.
comes from Uruk or Iraq,
Yes.
suggesting that Iraq is a stargate or some sort of portal.
Okay.
And that back in the 1920s, the Iraq stargate was uncovered in Baghdad. This stargate, I'll have to read this more. This is a report out of CNN. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll be right back with that. That's amazing. It tried to spell out the original name for Iraq.
Well, and I have more to say about that,
Okay.
too.
All right, here we go. We'll be right back. That's amazing. We'll be right back with more right here on Ground Zero.
You're listening to Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis on FM News 101.
This is not a test. It is the future. Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis.
Okay, we're going to go to a few phone calls right now to close up this hour, and then we're going to carry this on into the next hour. Michael calling from Oregon tonight. You're on Ground Zero. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey, go ahead. You're on the air.
I basically, since my car accident and was technically brain dead, I've been dreaming a lot about what I call, for lack of a better choice of words, I call them devil dogs. And they're ever present. They're just waiting. They're basically like on guard. They're just waiting to be told what to do next. And they have the most piercing blue eyes. I cannot describe to you the color of their eyes, but they're ever present. And boy, I really hope I'm not the only one that sees these.
Is it just black dogs, or would it be similar to what maybe would be Cerberus, which is the three-headed dog that stands guard?
No,
Hades?
it's a very large-headed, short-furred dog, single head, black. The nearest I can describe it is it's undescribable. It's like it's a mix between a Doberman Pinscher and
one of those thick mastiffs is what you're talking about. Mastiff dogs. Yeah.
The only thing that really sticks to me that I can remember from the night before dreaming these things is the eyes. They're just so piercing. They look right through you.
What do you think? What do you think the dog represents in your interpretation?
Impending danger.
Like war?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But I know that they're waiting.
All right.
They're on call and they're just waiting for the next thing to happen so that they can proceed with their duty.
All right, Michael. I thank you for calling in tonight. Thank you so much for calling. Let's go now. Yeah, hold on one second. What were you going to say?
Playing around while you were talking, and so while that was happening, he spelled out the APPL, like apple, and then he just said the word pour, POOR. And do you mind if I just continue?
Yeah, go ahead. If he's speaking again.
Yes, pour what? SP. Okay, and he went down to the abyss. Pour what? RP. Okay, go ahead and take another call.
Okay, we'll take another call. Let's go now to Michael in New York, WGY. You're on Ground Zero.
Yes, Mr. Lewis, it's a pleasure speaking with you.
Go ahead.
My brother and I, when we were young, I was 10 and he was probably 11, a year older than me. He passed February. We were playing with the Ouija board, and for about maybe an hour or less, and then we went to sleep. My brother sleeps in another room, and I was in the other one. And my mother was up washing dishes at the kitchen sink. And the room was like totally black, no one else in the room but me. And something tapped me on the shoulder, okay? It froze me, it tapped me again on the shoulder. I mean, I was literally frozen. I couldn't yell, couldn't say nothing, but I just could see my mother.
So you had an encounter with some sort of entity? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Was it a shadow entity, or could you tell what it was?
No, I couldn't tell what it was. It was behind me. I was in bed. It was behind me, and it tapped me on my shoulder twice.
Wow.
Okay, and it just froze me.
I would be frozen too, Michael, for sure. I mean, if you were playing with a Ouija board and all of a sudden you have an entity tap you, yeah, I would feel it too. Coming up, more from our board here tonight here at Ground Zero. Stay tuned in with us. We're going to get down to the bottom of the Dogs of War, the Temple, and the Convergence. We'll be back. Keep it here on Ground Zero. I'm Clyde Lewis, and this is Ground Zero. The numbers to call tonight, 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. What a show it's been so far. Ouija boards are hard to interpret, especially when you have a whole lot of things happening all at once and you're trying to focus as well as run a show. And I guess it's important here at this moment in time. I would like, either Harth or Tracy or Wes or whomever, some of the notes that were taken from the last session, I'd like to kind of address.
Okay.
All right. Because I want to go through the notes, and I want to play a little game called Metaphor 101 with you all.
All right.
We've had a moment in time to sit and have this settle a bit. We have some obvious things being said by Baphomet, and we have some not so obvious things being said by Baphomet.
Yes.
And so we're going to discuss both.
Yep.
Okay? So we began the session with a scripture from Ezekiel about the sword of God coming down and, destruction, war, the whole thing. Apocalyptic, very apocalyptic scripture. It was by random. We got it.
Yeah.
And from there, we had Baphomet talk about what? Pups? What did he say?
Well,
first we asked if the gates of hell were open. He said yes. We asked how. He said 49 TAIO, 49 Tao.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said right puds. And he went on to some gibberish, and then he went on to pups and said that was, for the dogs, and then he went and misspelled Dogs of War.
Mm-hmm.
But he confirmed yes that was what he was trying to spell.
Mm-hmm.
Moved on. He had some more gibberish.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't call Tracy a hag. He didn't spell out God or ELQ, which is the one God as you
the one God of Muslims, Christians, and Jews.
Then he spelled out AON.
Which could be Aeon.
Aeon.
Which is an era.
And by the way, that ELQ is signifying the fearing of God in times of war, and it also talks about the God ELQ during the times of the gathering of Muslims, Christians, and Jews at the Temple Mount for war.
Yeah, and
Same
then
thing.
Yeah, then he went on to spell chaos.
Yes.
He's been spelling it KOAS.
Mm-hmm.
Has been spelling it the way that we're used to seeing it. We asked him, where the apocalypse was happening. He said Ors, OARS.
Mm-hmm.
He said that multiple times.
He spelled out mosques in a funny way, along with a bunch of other letters. Spelled out SOS. And there's more letters that weren't exactly English. Then chaos again. OPC.
Yeah.
And then he spelled out open, then portal, then Anthony.
Yeah, we started asking about what's going on in Iraq, whether it's related to
And
the gates of
he
hell
spelled it
opening.
Iraq, or he spelled it EROQ or EREK or something.
Well,
the old version of Iraq.
From what I recall, it's like we were asking about the gates of hell opening, whether the events happening in Iraq and Syria are related to that. Then he starts spelling out the words open portal.
Mm.
And we asked, where's the open portal?
Iraq.
And that's when he spells out URK, which is actually the
Iraq.
old, Sumerian city that the word Iraq comes from, Uruk. And I was telling you during the break that a Sumeriologist, an old Orientalist that I used to study named L.A. Waddell from the 1920s, one of the first people to write about Iraq and Sumerian, he said that Uruk is the same city as Erech, E-R-E-C-H, that you find in the Bible. And he also thought it was synonymous, actually, with Enoch, which is the name of the first city that was built by Cain after he was cast off into Nod.
Here's something else.
Yes.
Dogs of War is mentioned Act 3, Scene 1, line 273 of William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. And the words are, cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war. The dog has its ordinary meaning. Havoc is a military order permitting the seizure and spoil after a victory. Let slip is to release from the leash the dogs of war. The dogs in this case are related to Sirius, the dog star, and everybody knows that Sirius as a star belongs to who?
ISIS.
That's right.
So your interpretation, you think that he was identifying ISIS, the terrorist group, as the dogs of war.
Yes.
I
think that's where he was referring to the dogs of war that would come up with the idea of Sirius, which is the dog star.
Right.
And then from there, you'd find that Sirius is ISIS's star. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the dogs of war, or the dogs of war that the one God of Christianity, Israel, and of Islam, we all need to come together to come against this group, ISIS. Or otherwise, they're going to come and they're going to destroy the temple, like they're going to destroy a temple in Iraq. From what I read, the temple where they found the demon Pazuzu
in the movie The Exorcist.
Yes, exactly, in the movie The Exorcist.
Now, and then also there was a point in the seance where he spelled out, or almost spelled out, the name Anthony. He had Anthon,
Mark Anthony,
and so maybe
Caesar.
That's again a reference to Julius Caesar.
Yeah,
so
Makes sense.
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
We're going to have to, none of this will totally make sense to us right now. It'll probably be a couple days for us and also the listeners to write in and for us to interpret all of it. But yeah.
Let's go to Jade in Alaska. Jade, what were you saying? What were you going to say here?
Yeah, this is really interesting. If you go to the book of Zechariah, and Clyde, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about a basket being lifted up like a UFO with a creature with hair like women. And it went between these two mountains, and he asked where it was going. And in the Bible, in Zechariah, he was told that it was going to a place called Shinar. And it says that it had a base there. It's not. I don't know if it's a base for it to sit on, or a base like where there's multiple of them. But the thing about it is, it's in the plains of Babylon, and this, it says in the Zandervan, is where the Tower of Babel was built. It's called Shinar.
Nimrod, Shinar, Uruk. The area Nimrod, the land of Nimrod, the land of Shinar, and the land of Uruk.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you know.
Did she say that she's referring to something from the book of Ezekiel?
No, from the book of Zechariah.
Okay, yeah.
Zechariah.
She's talking about some sort of a craft or it was a basket that could fly. Mm-hmm. And there was a story in Zechariah about this basket could fly, and there were women in the basket. They resembled hairy animals.
Hags?
Hags, yes. And they were
and it was like made out of pewter.
Yeah. And they flew into the Valley of Nimrod in the area of Shinar, which is close.
Where the Tower of Babel was built.
Where the Tower of Babel was built near a place called Uruk.
Wow.
Like Iraq or Babylon again. So there you go.
It is Iraq.
Yeah, it is. It's Iraq. Something's going to happen in Iraq, obviously.
Well, something is happening, yeah.
Yeah, something bigger is going to happen in Iraq, probably.
With a portal to hell, apparently.
Yeah, they'll open the portal to hell, or that it will at least make it wider. So there you go.
You know what's really great about this?
What?
Jesus is coming.
Let's hope. Jay, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. I appreciate the call. Okay, go ahead. Yes. What?
Yeah, Wes, go ahead.
Towards the end there, just before we stopped asking questions, the second to last question we'd asked was,
I think we were asking, like, who is wanting to control the portal? Which human beings on Earth want to control this portal?
We kept hammering about the portal, and eventually we got son of ROJ. And Tracy was able to figure out what ROJ is.
I think so, yeah. And actually, Baphomet confirmed it, because I was a lot of these other things that he's been spelling out turn out to be the initials for churches and things like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And secret societies. And so it just occurred to me, there is a secret society called ROJ. It's the Royal Order of Jesters, which is an attachment to the Masonic Order. Only 32nd degree Masons can be a member of it. And they basically have sex orgies. That's the whole purpose of it. And
Really?
you can look it up. I mean, it's been in the courts and everything. I'm not saying conspiracy theories here. That's what it's about. And so it's public knowledge that that's what they do. And so we asked Baphomet during the break if that's what ROJ stood for. And he said yes multiple times. So we haven't had a chance to follow up on that yet and find out exactly what he's talking about. But it actually kind of matches up to something that we were told earlier. Yes, Wes?
Just thought of something. This could be nothing, but it could be something. In The Dark Knight, what does the Joker say? I'm an agent of chaos.
I'm an agent of chaos.
Wow.
Here is an email that just came in. In the first scene in The Exorcist, the word Iraq appears. Then after opening a portal, the priest sees two dogs of war fighting in the desert.
Wow.
I remember that scene.
No, I'm impressed, Clyde. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's sent by Flying Saucer Balloon Boy sends this in an email. In the first scene in The Exorcist, the word Iraq appears, and after opening a portal, the priest sees two dogs of war fighting in the desert. That's before he casts his eyes on Pazuzu, the demon, the pestilence demon.
I wonder if the movie The Exorcist was really foreshadowing for the events that we're seeing on Earth now. I wonder if there's certain aspects of it that could only be understood now.
Well, we know the Pazuzu murders that happened a couple of weeks ago, which the guy thought or named himself Pazuzu, and he killed two prostitutes and ate them and then buried their remains in their backyard. In fact, Chris Putnam, who is the writer of many Catholic books about the Pope, wrote me and told me, he says, this is an amazing story. We should follow it. And then the story where they found, the story was released out of Iraq, that the temple that was shown in The Exorcist, where they found Pazuzu, where the dogs of war were seen, ISIS threatened to destroy that temple,
right? And
that they are going to destroy it, and they're standing guard over it now to keep it from being destroyed, because it is a very important temple. But it was the temple where Pazuzu was found. The demon of pestilence was found in The Exorcist.
Very strange.
Yeah, I know, a lot of weird things there, huh?
Now, there's some meaning that just occurred to me about the Royal Order of Jesters thing, and why those people would be interested in this portal. We were told by Kane in a previous seance 2 months ago, or maybe 3, that he said, this is very strange, Masons robbing tombs have come near Zarmu. And I had to look it up. Zarmu is part of the Sumerian pantheon of gods. In their mythologies, the gods had their own temples that other gods would do ceremonies and worship them at. There was like a whole society of gods. And so at the temples, you would even have attendants and priests who were themselves gods.
Right.
And so one of those attendants was named Zarmu. So it's possible that basically Zarmu might have actually had a tomb somewhere in Iraq, maybe, and that Freemasons, who maybe are in charge of that area now, or have access to it, were robbing tombs there, and they disturbed the body of Zarmu, this god. And so I guess what I'm saying is it could be that what's going on in Iraq right now is really being directed by certain high initiates of the Freemasonic order. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're playing out some plan that they've had a long time now to try to gain control of that portal to hell.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if that's the case. We're going to take a break right now. A lot of fascinating things going on tonight and a lot of interesting interpretations of what we've seen so far. We're going to continue this. Get your phone calls as well. And then after the news, we're going to continue with more session here tonight on Ground Zero, see if we can get some clarification on some things. If you have any ideas you'd like to share with us, some things you may be sensing about what we have found, what we've uncovered tonight, it seems like what's being said here is some future events. We don't have dates. We certainly have future events here that are being talked about, and names being named, countries being named, temples being named, you name it, and it's an amazing thing. 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. We'll be back with more. Keep it here on Ground Zero.
FM News 101 KXL.
This is Ground Zero on FM News 101.
Everyone is in on the secrets, and big things are being planned. Call Clyde Lewis now. Ground Zero.
This, according to British newspapers, an ancient temple made famous in the film The Exorcist has fallen into the hands of Islamic militants who have taken over northern Iraq, the Telegraph has learned. The pre-Christian worship complex at Hatra, a vast network of 200 feet high sun god temples, is UNESCO's World Heritage Site, features in the opening sequence of The Exorcist. But it now lies in the territory claimed by ISIS, prompting fears that its stone statues could be destroyed as idolatrous images by the militants. Already, ISIS fighters in the city of Mosul, 70 miles northwest of Hatra, have demolished a statue of Othman al-Mosuli, a 19th century Iraqi musician and composer, and the statue of Abu Tamam, an Abbasid era Arab poet. A counselor from the Hatra area told the Telegraph a 20-strong squad of Iraqi policemen who had guarded the temple from looters and fled the area fell to tribal militants and ISIS fighters a fortnight ago. So we may see this World Heritage Site in Hatra, the Temple of Mern, MRN, destroyed by the dogs of war, ISIS. 888-673-3700. 888-673-3700. Let's go to Alvin in Texas. Hi, Alvin. You're on Ground Zero.
Hi, Clyde. Hi, sir, ma'am. How y'all doing?
Good. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay, I had a question. Besides Iraq and all that over there, are there any portals in, like, major cities like Houston, New York, Las Vegas, wherever?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any portals in Las Vegas. I haven't heard of any portals in Las Vegas. I know that, some places could be considered portals. I mean, it's just a matter of whether or not things come and go. I mean, there are certain areas where depressions exist and where certain areas can be considered portals. But as far as large portals that exist, we do know that there's one in Iraq, yes.
Or would the board know?
No, the board's taking a break right now. We're going to be we're taking a break, and then we're going to do it after the news. We're going to do another session after the news. We're taking phone calls right now, just answering questions and getting people to talk about the board tonight. So you asked the question. I don't know if there are any in the U.S.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye bye. Let's go to Rock in Oregon. Hi, Rock. You're on Ground Zero.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I had a dream the other night, wrapped it up. I'm going to say about a 5-hour dream, and wrapped up into these two things. It was basically Iran was enriching uranium to make a different kind of bomb. It wasn't an atom bomb, but it was a bomb to basically light the oxygen on fire to baptize the earth in fire and bring forth the 12th Imam.
So that's what you had a dream about, the 12th Imam.
Well, I had a dream that Iran was trying to bring forth the 12th Imam, and that's how they were doing it. It was just, we thought they were trying to make an atom bomb, and they were making a bomb that lit the the air on fire, so that basically it baptized the earth in fire.
Oh, I see. A scorched earth policy so they could bring the 12th Imam in.
Right. And then, basically everybody, all the religious people were happy because they're going to go see Jesus, and I was going, whoa, what's going on?
Wow. Well, Rock, that's amazing. That's an amazing vision to have. And, yeah, there was some time there where I remember when Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was saying that, having the bomb and having the uranium would bring the 12th Imam forward, but it's still up in the air as to what he was talking about, whether or not he was crazy. But in the meantime, I appreciate you bringing that up, Rock. Thank you for calling tonight. 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. If you have a comment about what we've been talking about or what you interpret the board to be saying, we'd like to hear from you. 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. We're going to open the board again. Come right after the break, and then we'll see what the board has to say tonight on Ground Zero. We'll be back.
More with Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero on FM News 101.
We need your help.
This is overpowering.
It's getting worse.
Yes, it certainly doesn't like that I'm here, and I cannot help you.
What?
In fact, I've got to get out of here. This thing is very aggravated, the fact that I'm here.
Wait. Everybody calm down. We need your help.
I think I'm doing more harm being here than any good. Yes, I really have got to leave. And Dr. Avery will be back in a few days, and when he gets back here, he'll take care of all your problems. Let me see what I can do, but I've got to leave this room right now.
This is no joke.
I will help you, but I can't do this right now.
No.
Are you serious?
It's here.
What's here?
I feel it breathing on me. Here we go. Come on.
I don't know. Okay, so I like wearing body parts as jewelry. I wanted to wear my fans because I love my fans more than anything in the world.
Right.
So I thought they could send me their teeth, and then I made a headdress out of them, and I had like 1,000, so now I'm making a bra.
Their kidneys will be all mine. Have you slept with a ghost?
I did go to the Bone Zone with a ghost. I don't know his name, but he was in my house.
You don't know his name?
Why, he's a ghost. And so he just started, caressing me like this.
I'm starting a cat cult.
A cat cult?
Yes.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so you can be in it, and all you have to do is you have to be a cat for me.
We're summoning the demon.
You see, on the 15th day of the 7th moon in the Chinese calendar, it's believed the gates of hell are opened and the ghosts of unwanted souls roam the earth. But for some spirits, the ghosts most feared by the Chinese, there's no buying them
We're
off.
summoning the demon.
The Preta, the ancient ghost of a murdered man who wanders the earth, exacting his revenge on the living. Or the Wu Zhengguai, who collects the souls of doomed men and drags them down to the Chinese hell.
I'm Clyde Lewis, and this is Ground Zero. The numbers to call tonight, 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. We're opening the board again tonight with Harith and Tracy Twyman. And they just started it up while we're getting ready to go into the next segment of the show. So hang tight. We're going to find out more and find out what's going on with the board. So here they go.
All right. Baphomet, you there still? Yes. Yes. And he goes down to the abyss. Yes. Okay. You were telling us before, yes, about the APPL. Were you spelling the word apple? Yes. Are you referring to the apple in Eden? Yes. Were you saying that that's somehow related to the portal in Iraq you were talking about? Yes. And you spelled out the word poor. What were you saying there? Yes. Yes. P L. Is that an E? Yeah. E. O. F. P-O-S. P-O-S, does that mean the Priory of Zion? Yes. The apple of the Priory of Zion? Yes. What's that? Yes. I thought the Priory of Zion was dedicated to the Holy Grail. Is that right? Yes. Is that what the apple is? Yes. Okay, so what does the apple do? O-A-R-S. Okay, you've spelled out the word oars several times. I asked you before if you were talking about the oars that would row a boat, and you said yes. I don't really understand that. What do you mean by oars? Yes. J-O-K-E. You were making a joke? Yes. Well, it's not very funny. I don't get it. Yes. J-O-K-E-R. Joker. Yes. What about the Joker? Yes. J-O-K-E-R. Okay, you asked us, or we asked you, who wanted to have control over the portal in Iraq, and you spelled out R-O-J, which you affirmed stands for the Royal Order of Jesters. Is that correct still? Yes. Is that what you mean when you say Joker? Yes. Okay, the Royal Order of Jesters consists entirely of 32nd degree Freemasons. What do they want with the portal in Iraq? Yes. K-O-A-S. Then he goes down to the abyss. Yes. So they want chaos? Yes. Do they think it's a joke? No. What's the symbolism of the Joker then? Yes. H-O-K-Q-K-E-Y. Were you spelling the word hokey? Yes. Okay. Well, I know that the word hokey actually comes from, doesn't it come from hawk? It comes from Latin words that are said over the host when you, the Catholic host, when you consecrate it. So are you referring to that? Yes. Okay, jokers, hokey, maybe something to do with the Catholic host. Give us more. I mean, what does this have to do with the portal in Iraq? K-O-A-S and the abyss. Okay, so are you saying that there is going to be chaos coming out of this hole? Yes. Are you talking about social chaos? Yes. And then the abyss. Are you also talking about physical chaos? As in, is it possible you're talking about matter dissolving into chaos? Do you mean something like that? Yes. Does this have anything to do with the experiments that are going on at CERN right now? Yes. CERN released a Halloween video on YouTube today that was very strange. Can you tell us something about that? P-O-S. P-O-S. Priory of Zion? Yes. Well, I know that the Priory of Zion does have a very important chapter of their organization in Switzerland. Are you saying that the Priory of Zion has something to do with CERN? No. Okay. Yes. You mean which is it? No or yes? Yes. Okay, I'm sure this is getting very confusing for the audience. Remember, there's thousands of people listening. Can you give us a coherent message about the portal? What is the plan for what's going to happen next? K-O-A-S. S. Why do you spell it with a K, and why is it misspelled or spelled differently than the way we're used to? P-O-S. Okay. So you're talking about the Prairie of Zion. They are named after the holy mountain in Jerusalem, and we were talking about that earlier. So what's the connection there? Yes. Okay, well, the only connection I can think has to do with portals. You're saying there's a portal to hell in Iraq. Yes. And also, isn't there basically a portal to God's realm in Jerusalem? He goes to the abyss. Is there a portal to hell in Jerusalem? Yes. Okay, so how many portals to hell are there? 0. You just said there were a whole bunch of them. How many portals are there? S. And then he goes to the sun, the black sun. Okay.
What are the 12 labors of Hercules?
Okay, Clyde wants to ask, what are the 12 labors of Hercules? T. O. O. T. F. Toot F. O. J. O. And he goes to the abyss. Why were you asking about that, Clyde?
Because one of them was to find the apples.
Oh, the apples of Hesperides.
Of Hesperides.
Yes.
And the other was to capture and bring back Cerberus, the three-headed dog.
Right, yes.
And all of the strongholds of Hera were also basically of the goddess, of course, were entrances or portals to the netherworld.
Okay.
And the labors of Hercules were reassembled from many sources, including from the strongholds of Hera, which were the entrances to the underworld, or to the portals of hell. Hercules was sent to kill or subdue or to fetch back for Hera's representatives magical animals or magical plants. The labors in Greek sculpture found in the metopes of the Temple of Zeus at Olympia, which date back to 450 BC. And so I'm trying to figure this out here. I'm trying to find a connection here to the apples, to the dogs, to the portals, and the Holy Grail. And I'm having a hard time finding it. But we do have all the portals and also the idea of going after or going into the underworld for Persephone.
Yep.
Who is there with her husband, Hades, going into hell. So it's kind of interesting that he brings up the apples, the portals, the Holy Grail. We've heard the dogs. Cerberus is the three-headed dog that guards hell, and all the other portals.
Then there's the concept of the apple of chaos that was involved with the beginning of the Trojan War. Remember, there was this apple that Eris, the sort of goddess of mischief or discord, she threw it into, I think it was a crowd of, a party of gods, and then the goddesses all started fighting over it because it said "to the fairest." So, anyway, I'm just wondering, yes, the apple reference, is there also a connection with the apple of chaos? Yes. And then he goes to the water. Okay.
Interesting.
P, S, and then the water. Okay. Well, what about this temple of Pazuzu? Is there any meaning to that? I mean, we were talking during the break, Baphomet, about the movie Exorcist. I was wondering, can you tell us about the sort of artistic inspiration behind that movie that was based on a book? Was there any demonic inspiration involved? Yes. Can you tell us, does it have any sort of predictions for, is it in any way related to modern times and what's happening right now? D, A, R, E, R, O, R, O, J.
Dare, R-R-O-J.
Okay, so you spelled the word dare, and then you went in and referred to the Royal Order of Jesters again? Yes. Okay. So was there a member of the Jesters that somehow dared someone else to do something? No. Okay, what do you mean by that? R, O, J, P, O, S.
Priory of Zion.
Right. Is there a connection between the Royal Order of Jesters and the Priory of Zion? Yes. Do they have some of the same members? Yes. So tell me, are you saying that basically the plot to open or control this portal was somehow hatched within the membership of Priory of Zion and Royal Order of Jesters? Is that what you're saying? No. Okay, elaborate, please. S, O, N, O, F, R, O, J, Q, O, P, H. Yes.
Son of a royal, son of jesters.
And then...
Yeah, he spelled that again, son of R-O-J.
Son of R-O-J, a son of royal order of jesters. And then was the K-O-P, what was the Q?
Q-O-P-H.
Isn't Qaf the Arabic word for the letter Q in the Arabic alphabet? Harith?
It is indeed.
Okay.
19th letter in the alphabet, modern Hebrew and Arabic. Qaf.
19 is the number of hell.
Also, don't forget the Qaf Mountain.
The Qaf Mountain. Whoa, it says yes. What about the Qaf Mountain? Yes. What is the Qaf Mountain, Harith?
I believe it's the pillar that holds the universe, the skies and the earth from falling on you. You don't. Is holding the sky from falling.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, repeat it. We didn't get what? Get it. Repeat it.
You gotta speak up.
The Qaf Mountain, which is number 19. When you say it's the 19th letter of Hebrew, the Abjad Hawaz, and 19 also in Arabic, the number of hell, or Hades. Mountain Qaf is the mountain that's holding the skies from collapsing on earth. It's like a pillar between heaven and earth.
So it's the World Mountain, as it's referred to.
Correct.
Okay, sorry. The World Mountain in mythologies all over the world, it's this thing that, like he was saying, holds up the heavens or the other world and separates it from our world. And messages we've gotten in the past from the board have suggested that they, that is the demons, want to collapse this pillar and that will open up the realms. That will merge the two realms together. It's also been theorized by several conspiracy theorists on the internet right now that that's what CERN is trying to do, to open up a portal and they refer to it as metaphorically smashing the pillars, the pillar that holds up the heavens.
Wow. Okay, so Mount Qaf, or Qaf, Q-O-P-H. I'm reading this now. It's amazing. We'll be back with more. Keep it here. Don't go away.
FM News 101 KXL.
This is Ground Zero on FM News 101.
Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis.
Okay, so we're discussing the labors of Hercules. We're talking about after getting the apples of Hesperides, he was supposed to slay the dragon, Laden, and then he's supposed to. I guess he smashes the pillars that hold up the sky. And then, of course, he captures and is supposed to kill Cerberus, which is the dog, the three-headed dog that guards Hades. So there are a number of things here that, a number of things that we could go by here. But the whole idea here is going into Hades to obtain Persephone. That's the final thing. Everything I see here is, whilst in the underworld, Hercules met Theseus and Pirithous, the two companions had been imprisoned by Hades for attempting to obtain Persephone. What does that mean? Obtaining Persephone.
Well, Persephone was kidnapped by Hades because he fell in love with her, basically, and he wanted to bring her down to his realm to be his bride. Mm-hmm. And so it's actually referred to in the myths as the rape of Persephone. And if you Google that, you'll find artwork depicting it.
Right.
And then, but she then sort of became the queen of Hades, willingly, I guess. And so there's a lot of temples to Persephone, and there's one in particular that in Greece that actually is supposed to have a portal to Hades.
More gates of hell stuff.
Look, the whole message is about breaking open the gates by smashing this pillar, which is exactly what CERN is trying to do. They even use images that are very clearly related to that in their own literature, propaganda.
And if you want to go a little Discordian, an apple is the symbol of chaos and Discordianism too. I don't know if you want to pick up on that either, but that's something else. So, are you guys leaving us? Or you want to go another hour, or what's going to happen here?
Well, I want to hear Wes tell us about this weird thing in Assassin's Creed.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that coming up after the news.
Okay.
This is getting interesting. We'll get some phone calls too. 888-673-3700. It's 888-673-3700. We'll be back. Tonight, we are trying to assess what is being said on the board. I know many of you probably expected demons to come out, jump out, and kill us all, and all this other stuff, but it never happened. It never happens when you're using a Ouija board. If you use it the right way, you get stuff like this. You get stuff that, for most people who are, who are trying to figure out what's being said here, some stuff is over the heads of people, other people below. It's just a matter of, what I'm really obsessing over is this whole four pillars thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what it's all about, I think.
The four pillars of Hercules, the four mountains that hold up the sky. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because these four mountains in the future are to become like volcanoes, or they're supposed to topple and the sky falls.
What specifically are you reading here?
Well, I'm looking at the four pillars of Hercules, and they talk about, I was looking at, God, where did I put that book? There was a book I was looking at. I was reading this book, and they were saying that they're the four pillars of strength, the four pillars of the sky, the labors of Hercules, the Herculean pillars that hold up the sky, that separate the sky from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
The pillars are also looked at as portals.
Right.
There are people who argue where these portals are located, mostly in very high mountain areas where these portals are supposed to be where the original inhabitants of the earth live.
Well, I think one of them is in Jerusalem for sure.
Right.
He affirmed that.
Mount Hermon.
Right? Now, okay. Wes, the person acting as the scribe tonight.
Yes.
Also the digital media producer. Tell us what you know about Assassin's Creed and how it might connect with something that was said tonight.
One of the primary objects that are sought after in Assassin's Creed is an object called the Apple of Eden. It's like a golden apple that has mystical powers to control people or whatever.
In the game, that's what it is.
In the game, but the thing is that the two groups they're looking for are the group known as the Assassins and the Knights Templars.
Uh-huh.
And so we kept mentioning the Order of the Jesters and that they were connected with the Masons. And I know that the Freemasons are just the modern day fraternity version of what the Templars were 1,000 years ago.
And the Templars, of course, were the originators of Baphomet. Baphomet came from their rituals.
Yeah, I know there were like ancient ones that do appear in the games. God gods and titans and beings like that. I can't remember exactly because it's been a few years since I've played them. I've recently actually just started replaying the first game. That's why it just kind of popped in my head, because I spent a few hours last weekend playing the game. So I thought we could ask about some of those orders, the Templars, the Assassins, if there's anything about that. Who knows? I mean, we asked about a movie, and he knew about the movie. Maybe he knows something about the game, and maybe there's some accuracy there, because they do have a disclaimer at the beginning of every single one of the games stating that they did have researchers from multiple walks of life and religions doing historical research, and they use multiple texts, the Bible included.
I don't doubt it.
Maybe we can ask Baphomet. Maybe he knows something about that.
Well, we're about to close, actually, because we have to leave, and so we have to close the conversation. And what I'm going to ask him, I'm sure he's been hearing everything we've been saying.
Of course.
So I'll ask him if he has any final words to clarify what we've been talking about tonight. Because the last thing he said on the board was Kaf, which turns out to be the mountain that holds up the heavens in the Arabic language. Yes.
I'm onto something right now.
Yes. Okay. Do you have anything else to say, Baphomet? We're about to say goodbye. Yes. J O K E R S O K. Joker's okay. All right. We have a few more minutes. You want to say anything else? Yes. K O L. K O L? No. Say it again. P O S. Okay. You're talking about the Priory of Zion. Yes.
I want to ask a question quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Baphomet, I want you to listen to my words, and I want you to give me your answer when I say these words. Axis Mundi. Axis Mundi.
He just went to the pillar on the right, the white pillar, and then also we have a fleur-de-lis in the corner, the top corner. Okay.
You want to I just think we just proved that this is a real spirit talking to us. Do you know what the Axis Mundi is?
What? I mean, I do, but
the Axis Mundi is the world's center. It's the pillar of heaven and earth, celestial pole. It's represented by a pole, a pillar. It's represented by a tree, a vine, a mountain, a pillar of fire, a maypole, a staircase, a cross, a steeple, a rope, a totem pole, a pillar, a spire, an obelisk, a lighthouse, a rocket, a skyscraper. Every microcosm, every inhabited region has the center of its place in origin known as the Axis Mundi, a place that is sacred above all. If the pillar is to fall, so goes the planet. The Axis Mundi is associated with the mandalas.
Baphomet, do you remember, 12 years ago when you told me about the game of chess, how it was basically representing the war in heaven, the war between God and the demons? And one of the things you said is castles fall, all castles fall. Do you remember that? Yes. Were you referring to this pillar collapsing? He goes to the white pillar again, and then up to the fleur-de-lis. Why are you going to the fleur-de-lis? And then he goes to the abyss.
Is it the fleur-de-lis or the caduceus?
Yes.
The caduceus, Baphomet, the caduceus.
Why are you asking about that?
The caduceus is also a representation of the Axis Mundi.
Okay.
And the human body, the DNA, and the new man, or the rise of the new man.
He just went to the fleur-de-lis again. What does it mean to you? Oh, I bet I know what it means. Yes. And he goes to the water. Is the fleur-de-lis, are you referring to the apple? Are you referring to the apple of immortality? Yes.
Also, the Axis Mundi is the tree of life, tree of knowledge of good and evil, where the apple was. Garden of Eden with the 4 rivers, Mount Ararat, the ziggurat, Jacob's ladder, Jerusalem, the cross of the crucifixion, Dome of the Rock, where Muhammad ascended into heaven from the temple. We already talked about the temple tonight. And several other places where you have already talked about where the Axis Mundi is exactly what the message is that some pillar that's going to hold the planet together is going to be demolished or destroyed.
And there were two trees in the Garden of Eden. The tree of knowledge of good and evil with its apple, which Eve already ate. And then there's the tree of life, which gives eternal life, which that's the whole reason why God kicked Adam and Eve out of Eden, is to prevent them from getting access to the tree of life, because he didn't want them to live forever. So we already have the apple that Eve ate. We already have the tree of knowledge apple. But what humankind does not have yet is immortality.
I want to ask one more thing.
Yes.
Baphomet, please answer this question. You have inferred the whole night the Axis Mundi. Where is this Axis Mundi to topple?
Where's the Axis Mundi, Baphomet? P, K, A, I, and then he goes to the abyss. P, Kia, F, A, K, O, L, R, and the abyss. Okay. Is there one physical location?
Furkalor.
What is that?
It's a demon.
Did you just say that?
Yes, Furkalor's a demon.
No. He goes, no.
He didn't say Furkalor?
Yes. Were you saying Furkalor? No. Say what you're saying again. R. P. All right. This is your last chance, Baphomet. We really want you to say something that sums it all up for us at the end of the night.
I want to know where Axis Mundi is. I need to know.
P-O-L-E. Pole.
Pole. Yes. Axis
what we're
Mundi.
asking
Pole.
about.
Where is the pole that will be demolished? What is the fabric? What is the pole that's holding the world together that will be taken down? What is the tower that will be taken down?
He just spelled R-A-I-K. Is that right, Baphomet? Yes. R-A-I-K. And then goes to the abyss. And then P, J. Where's the pole? Yes. Okay. Is there a place on Earth that it connects to? D. D-O-J. Okay. Is it in Iraq? Yes. We're talking about the cough, right? Yes. Then he goes to the Pisces sign. O, D, A, G. Odag? Yes. Are you speaking Sumerian? Yes. Does the dag refer to Dagon? Yes. Dagon is an old Mesopotamian fish god, and of course he just went to the Pisces. Why are you talking about fish? Yes. Q, A, P, H. Harth, you had something to add?
Something actually from an old Sufi literature about man's trip into the hierarchy of the universe. He ended up as a goal or as a point to the mountain calf, and he was speaking to the father whale, the father fish.
Okay.
And as if he was responsible for the whole creation.
Okay.
Is the Udog the same as what I'm thinking the Udog is?
What are you thinking it is?
Udog is the fish demon. It's the demonic. It's the representation of the original Neptune, Poseidon, Udog demon from the deep, Leviathan.
Yeah, and Dagon is another version of that mentioned in the Bible. Remember the story about Samson in the temple of Dagon, and he was a prisoner there, and he was so disgusted with everything. That's why he collapsed the pillars of the temple of Dagon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about collapsing the pillars again. We have a few more minutes. What's this reference to the fish god about? Yes. J-O-D-A-G. F and the abyss. Okay, say it again. Q, U, L. What?
QUL.
Okay. O, S, L. Okay, tell us about Dagon or the fish. What does this have to do with the pillar? R.
OSL is the Order of St. Luke, by the way.
Okay.
It's a religious order.
R, L, O, J, G, U, and the abyss. Okay. So, well, the abyss is represented with water usually. So, okay. Tell us more about the fish. P, T. All right. Baphomet, we're about to close this up. And tell us, have the pillars already been smashed? Yes. And then he goes to the abyss. Is that what happened to open the gates of hell? Yes. Who smashed the pillars? R, O, J. The Royal Order of Jesters? Yes. What'd they do to make that happen? R, L, O, I, F. How was the gate opened? What happened to make it open? Q, L. Can you speak English, please? When and how was the gate of Hades opened? U, L, R, K, S, K. Okay, well, we really want to know more about this. Can you give us something else to go on? Because we're about to leave here. Tell us something that we can research later that will make this make more sense to us about how the pillars got opened. Or, yes, L, R, I. Okay, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm just, so a tower fell, Axis Mundi has already fallen, according to Baphomet.
Yes.
So Axis Mundi meaning the world's pole or the world's tower.
He's saying no now. Okay, what did you mean by that? Elaborate, please. R, J. R, O, J. Okay, you mentioned earlier it was the son of someone in the ROJ that was involved with this. Is that right? Yes. Who's the son? E, V, J, and the abyss. Who's the son? S, O, N, R, O, J. Okay. What else? Who's the son of the Royal Order of Jesters? P, O, S. All right. Priory of Zion. Okay.
This goes around in circles. We're not getting anything.
Well, we are. Well,
we'll
have to work on it later. Okay, Baphomet, we're going to talk to you later, but thank you very much for participating tonight. Go back to the abyss, please. Yes. And then he goes back down to the abyss. Okay, goodbye.
Okay. Interesting. Royal Order of Jesters. They're all responsible for the falling of the Axis Mundi. The jokers. Those who... It's amazing here. We'll have to look this up and figure it out. 888-673-3700. That's 888-673-3700. We'll be back.
FM News 101, KXL.
This is Ground Zero on FM News 101.
This is not a test. It is the future. Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis.
So Harith and I have been having a conversation during the break about Axis Mundi, and what's really creepy about this is that we are kind of talking as if the idea of destroying Axis Mundi, or at least several Axis Mundis, pillars that represent religious groups, mostly Islam. Well, we were talking about the gods of Islam, Israel, and Christianity. First of all, the Temple Mount comes up, which is considered one of the pillars, or one of the Axis Mundis, one of the pillars of the world. The other is Mecca.
Correct.
Now, what's your point on Mecca here? That ISIS was saying they wanted to destroy Mecca, and so did the Saudis, I guess. No. What were you saying?
Mecca, the past, let's say, 20 or 30 years have been radically changed. All the old historical structures in it have been destroyed. The old heritage of Mecca is gone. You've seen the pictures of it. Like, there's a big band,
clock.
with the clock thing, the tower, and with the horned with the horned kind of a deity, as if, or like a horned star.
Right.
But also was understood among the Muslims that the Mecca is the mother of all cities. It's the mother city on earth. I mean, we're not speaking just about our cycle, the 10,000 years. It could be something before that, during Atlantis and before Atlantis. So yeah, I mean, I won't be surprised it is the Axis Mundi. But strangely, also, two weeks ago, I had a dream where the Dome of the Rock was destroyed, and the stone itself, the sacred stone,
was exposed.
Which was the stone that Jerusalem, in Jerusalem, that Jacob, I believe Jacob, didn't he transcend to heaven?
Yeah.
At the same spot on the
same as Muhammad.
Same thing with the Prophet of Islam. Correct.
Yes.
They went to
this would be frightening if the Axis Mundi, whether it be the Dome of the Rock or Mecca, were destroyed, because they are both representations. Mecca for Islam, but Islam, Israel, and Christianity at the Dome of the Rock. Thank you, Harif. Thank you so much. Thank you both, Tracy Twyman and Harif, being on the program tonight. We'll be back with more. Keep it here. Don't go away.
There is one question that the Free Zone has been chasing, and that is the nature of the occult. It seems it's not enough to simply ask the question, what is magic? As the answer lies deep within occulted history, occulted bloodlines, and even warring secret societies. So to dig into this mystery deeper, there's no one better equipped to look at all these aspects than Tracy Twyman. She is the author of the Merovingian Mythos, Money Grows on the Tree of Knowledge, and her latest release, Clock Shavings, which is going to blow your mind for sure. So welcome to the show, Tracy.
Thank you so much. I've heard a lot about this show before. I've seen some of your previous programs, and I'm really excited to be on. Thanks.
Well, fantastic. Yeah, this is a place where we can dig deeper into the occult. You have a knowledgeable audience listening to you. They already know what a Baphomet is, although I know you can get deeper into even what that is. And so you can feel free to openly discuss the heavier topics here and know that the audience is actually receiving you. I mean, I really want to know you, Tracy. This is a point of my show. I know we have a lot of topics that we can cover. But I want to get into the nature of Tracy Twyman. The idea is because you came up through the study of the Holy Blood, Holy Grail, getting into the Merovingian bloodlines. You have your book, The Merovingian Mythos. But now we find you in the dark corners, opening up Ouija boards and opening communications to the other side. And this is what truly intrigues me. I want to know about magic. I want to understand. And I want to understand how you got from studying these levels of history, the occulted history, to popping open the Ouija board and hanging out with Nicholas DeVere.
Well, my relationship with DeVere probably started a couple years before that, before the Ouija board. But I had been doing Dagobert's Revenge, which was a magazine that was all about that topic of the Merovingians and the Holy Grail and the Priory of Zion. And also, I was working with one of the writers we had at the magazine. We were doing going to do a book about that topic also. So I was in Denver working on that. I had been talking to Nicholas DeVere, the leader of the Dragon Court, another one of these bloodline sort of secret societies associated with bloodlines. I've been talking to him for a while, and he had a book that he had written that had been, he said, basically plagiarized by another writer. And that guy had actually made lots of money with Nicholas's book, or so it seemed. And, yeah,
I've read Lawrence Gardner.
So yeah, I was. There was some interesting stuff there. I mean, it really seemed to be going along the same lines as the research I was doing, which was, pointing towards the origin of these royal bloodlines having maybe a little bit to do with Jesus and Mary Magdalene. That could be part of it, but it seemed like really the mythology that really surrounded all these bloodlines went back much further, to the Garden of Eden, to the fallen angels and the Nephilim breeding with humans. And so I was interested in that idea. It seems like, the origin of these bloodlines, what makes them special, apparently, perhaps is a connection to, Satan, essentially. And then this is what Nicholas de Vere was saying. And he said his bloodline came from that, that all of the royal bloodlines of the earth basically originated with the connection between fallen angels or Satan and humans actually breeding with each other.
And this coming out in the line of Cain.
Yes. And that was one of the things I had just been writing about and developing in the magazine. It was going to be a big topic in the book, was that basically that the myths seem to point to sort of a hidden tradition, and in Kabbalism it's less hidden. It's actually explicit. That Kabbalists talk about the serpent, and the serpent was a hermaphroditic being, both male and female, that it had a male side called Samael and a female side called Lilith. And both sides bred with Adam and Eve to create hybrid bloodlines. So there's demon, half human, half demon children called Lilim that come from Lilith. And then Cain, according to this thesis, was the child of Samael and Eve. And also the interesting thing about Cain too is he matches up with some historical figures. Seems to have been an ancient king in pre-Diluvian times, one of the earliest kings actually, and had a big empire. So this is the kind of stuff we were developing, me and some of the other writers, and my husband also at the time, Brian Albert. Well, he didn't become my husband until maybe a year or so after we started doing the Ouija board. But we were living together. He was helping me with the magazine. He was one of the people running the thing, and he helped me a lot with research and stuff. I talked to him about what I was working on all the time, and he was a very smart guy. He knew a lot of stuff, so we worked with each other on it. And I was trying to figure out stuff about my research. I was really knee deep into really specific esoteric stuff from. Yes, the Priory of Zion's own literature and the symbolism in some of the things they had said about themselves. And then connecting that to Rosicrucian symbols and information and lots of Masonic stuff and stuff related to the Templars. I'm being kind of vague here, but at any rate, we were doing all this research. I was finding all these interesting connections. I wanted to find a little bit more. I was getting almost lost in the overwhelming amount of information and the kind of dizzying, all the connections between things. It was just so much, and I needed some clue for how to approach it. And the idea came up one night. I had just moved in with the guy who became my husband, Brian, and we'd moved to Denver. And so one night we were just talking about how Jean Cocteau, who was one of the guys supposedly Grand Master of the Priory of Zion, he was a French artist and also a poet and did some films, like avant-garde films. And I had been researching his stuff and finding what seemed like lots of clues that could be interpreted as meaningful. If you believed the idea that he was connected to the Priory of Zion, then you could look at his artwork and find maybe illumination about the mysteries of the Priory of Zion and the Holy Grail and things like that. So anyway, we decided to contact him on the Ouija board because Jean Cocteau, as it turns out, in his own life, had been very involved in doing seances with a group of other people. One of them actually in the group was Victor Hugo and his wife. So it was like Jean Cocteau and a bunch of these other like poets and playwrights and artists getting together to do seances, and which they called it table rapping at the time. It worked a little bit differently than Ouija boards. But anyway, they used to do that stuff. And I thought, well, let's try it. Let's see if Jean Cocteau, now that he's dead, see if he'll talk to us the way the ghosts talked to him when he was alive. So we tried it, and it actually worked.
Amazing. That sounds like a heck of a party, too. Yeah.
Well, and it was really spontaneous at the time, the first time it happened. Because I think actually he was moving his stuff, unpacking his things, and he had a Ouija board in one of the boxes. So he brought it out, and he didn't have the planchette, the indicator that comes with it, though. So we had to use a bottle of spice, cumin, actually. We emptied it out, and we used the bottle. And like I say in the book, which is my book, Clock Shavings, is all about the Ouija board seances that happened for years. It's really still happening. It happened a couple of weeks ago even. We're still doing it. Me and my current husband now are doing it. But the majority of it happened a few years ago. And so this book is all about the seances, the things that were said, we actually have extensive transcripts of a lot of the sessions, the whole story of what was going on around this time, what was happening. Because what ended up happening was Brian, me, some other friends, we had this group that we called it Ordo Lapsit Exilis. And at the time it was really just something, I wanted to have my own secret society to go with the magazine, basically. And we would put in the magazine right at the beginning that it's published by Ordo Lapsit Exilis. And what that is it just comes from the term for the Holy Grail that was used in the Wolfram von Eschenbach version of the Grail story. It was published in the 1800s. That was the German version. And he called it the stone that fell from heaven. And that was the Latin phrase that he used to refer to it. But it's kind of not proper Latin. It's actually, he's the one who messed it up. It's not exactly perfect. But at any rate, he coined this phrase. And so I thought I would just copy it exactly as it is, bad Latin and all. And we use that for the name of our organization. Originally, the whole idea behind it was just, promoting the mythos of the Grail and research into the Grail. And we would just put, the logo, which was the Cross of Lorraine at the time, in the magazine. I and some of my other friends had pendants that we would wear with the Cross of Lorraine on them. We would tell people we were members of this organization if they asked. But we didn't do much beyond that. But the order and the Ouija board seances ended up merging and becoming involved in each other. And so the Ordo Lapsit Exilis, I would say, ended up becoming, to a certain extent, a real magical order. We opened it up to broader membership. We had 3 degrees. The other people mainly were, like the Rosicrucians do it, we were doing basically mail order initiations for some of the lower degree people. They would take blood oaths on paper. Actually, they would cut themselves in an oath ceremony that we would tell them to do, and bleed onto the paper and send it back to us. And we would have it on our file. All the people who were 2nd degree members had taken the blood oath. The 3rd degree members didn't have to take any oaths. They just had to join the website. Anyway, so we ended up running this order, and it was all associated with the beings that we ended up talking to on the Ouija board, which included Cain and Baphomet. Jean Cocteau only talked to us for a little while, and he wasn't really able to answer our questions very clearly, so he told us to talk to Cain. And after talking to Cain for a while and getting lots of really great information from him, then we got referred to Baphomet, and that's where I would say we got most of the information after that.
Crazy.
So that's what's in the book. Yep. And you were talking about how it seems like a departure or a strange turn for me to take writing about this stuff. But I mean, really, has been part of my research process this entire time, as a way of getting ideas or inspiration about what angle to take when I'm trying to figure something out, when I'm researching something. And of course, I never just, quote something that a demon said on a Ouija board and put it in a book, but it's a springboard for the research that I do sometimes.
Yeah,
because again, they don't always tell me the truth, or they don't, and they're not always giving me useful information, but sometimes they really do. I mean, and a lot of things, really specific stuff that I wouldn't have known myself at all, and wouldn't have ever been able to figure out on my own. And a lot of it has turned out to be true. So it has actually been a very valuable resource to me.
Well, you have a lot of background in the ancient history of all of this, which absolutely helps. I mean, working with Nicholas DeVere, the whole idea of the line of Cain and the curses that go along with this that have really continued to manifest throughout time. This is the type of information that you were able to draw out of the Ouija board because you knew the right questions to ask, right?
I think so. I mean, I think I had already been tapped into some sort of higher, I don't know if you want to call it a higher power, but it's something from beyond, definitely. Like when I first started researching this stuff, I think I was 17 and I was about to turn 18, and I was taking a calculus class. Actually, I was about to take the final exam. I actually mentioned this in the book, how the whole thing started. I was trying to take this calculus exam. I was studying for it at night, but I had just read Holy Blood, Holy Grail, the popular book about this subject that came out in the 80s. And this was 1996, I guess, when this event happened.
It was an amazing year, really.
And so I was just sitting there trying to study, but I couldn't concentrate because I had this idea that was just started forming in my head about creating a magazine that would be all about that subject. Specifically, I thought, because in Holy Blood, Holy Grail, it talks about the Priory of Zion, how they put out these strange magazines, and they deposited them in the library in France, and then the people that wrote Holy Blood, Holy Grail ended up finding those magazines, and that's how they found out about the Priory of Zion even existing, and that's where they got all their information initially about what that organization was, and all that stuff about the supposed Merovingian bloodline. It all came from that magazine that the Priory of Zion published, and so I thought, well, that's a cool idea. Why don't I put out something like that? And people will think that I have a secret society, and we'll just see what happens. And so,
whose famous name did you put in your list of grandmasters? The Zion had what? Leonardo da Vinci. Did you?
Well, I just tried to. I actually wanted people to think that it was the Priory of Zion putting it out, or that's what I was hinting at, I guess.
Gotcha.
So I was just hijacking what they were doing initially, and so anyway, that's how the whole thing started. And from that moment, I really feel like I kind of got tapped into something. I don't know if I asked for it or if it asked me to do it, but I joined this mission somehow that ended up taking over my life. Really, I just put out one magazine initially, and I forgot about it for years, and I brought it back in 1999. And then, even though I was taking film classes at the time and had a totally different plan for my life, I just ended up continuing the magazine, continuing this research, and it was because it just kept giving to me. I kept pulling the thread, and it kept unraveling. I just kept following the clues, and I would find out more and more stuff, and a lot of it was stuff that, I would figure out things that, as far as I could tell, weren't in the books, connections between the books that the people that wrote the books hadn't figured out yet. So I just had to keep going, and that's what I've been doing since. Gosh, it's been like 20 years. I don't know. It's been a long time. And I just keep coming up with this stuff, but I really feel like I've been driven this entire time. And I don't know if it's entirely by demons or if there's some hopefully higher power at work. But at any rate, I definitely have been getting messages from beyond about how to conduct my research for this entire time. And so yeah, when I finally actually started talking to them on the Ouija board, and they were talking back, I was getting a clear conversation going. Then yeah, well, it was like I very easily established a rapport with them because I was so deeply involved in the types of ideas that are what they are all about. It's, at least the ones I was talking to, Cain and Baphomet. I mean, the mysteries surrounding them was something I really knew a lot about, and so I knew exactly the right questions to ask. And yeah, I just have gotten some amazing results over the years, and I was just dying to tell people, because I can only tell part of the story, really, or part of the information if I don't reveal the where the information came from. So I wanted to be able to reveal some of the things that I wouldn't write in a normal nonfiction book. I just wanted to be able to tell the story of how all this stuff happened. And that's what's in the book. The more I look at, I finally got the proof from the printer yesterday. I keep looking at the book, and I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with this thing that I created.
Nice.
It's definitely the best book I've ever written, I think.
The title, Clock Shavings. Can you explain that?
Yeah, sure. Well, there's a quote at the beginning of the book, and I'll just read it to you. It's from God of the Witches by Dr. Margaret Alice Murray, who was an anthropologist in the early 20th century. So she had a book about all the witchcraft craze in Europe, medieval to Renaissance Europe. And so she wrote, "The Swedish witches had a special rite which was obviously intended to impress ignorant minds. They were given a little bag containing a few shavings of a clock to which a stone was tied. They threw this into the water, saying, 'As these shavings of the clock do never return to the clock from which they are taken, so may my soul never return to heaven.'" And there's a band, what is it? There's a band that has some kind of song about a black mass. It's one of those metal bands from the 70s. Anyway, I think that's the only other reference to this quote from Margaret Alice Murray about the shavings of a clock. When you look up shavings of a clock on Google, this is all you find almost, because I had never heard the term clock shavings before, and I'm wondering, are we talking about like metal filings from the gears of a clock?
Right.
And I had to dig, and I guess that's what they're talking about. But so it's a very specific thing. You don't find this term very often. And yeah, like I said, the only other reference I could find was from this metal band.
I think the group is Black Sabbath. And
no, it's not.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of witches in their black masses. Because that all ties back to the OTO, goes back to Baphomet, and starts to get into people you're chatting with.
Yes. Well, I mean, basically, when over the years of trying to figure out what all these messages meant, what the whole thing that happened, I had to wait years to figure out what it really meant between me and Baphomet. I mean, it started off, we were just getting information. Then specifically Baphomet really wanted to have a role in directing the Ordolapse at Exilus and what we were doing. And I ended up just doing all these projects kind of at the behest of Baphomet, kind of. And I ended up just feeling kind of worn out and used by it. I wasn't getting the results I wanted. And so I ended up closing the whole thing down, mainly because I started just distrusting what was going on. I felt like I was a slave to this being, and being pushed way too hard, and I didn't know why I was even doing it. I was getting all these other people involved, and I didn't know what I was getting them involved in. And then at the end, I went into this trance one night, and I wrote a book that was supposed to be a manual for the second degree members of the order. And this is the closest I've ever come to automatic writing. I wrote the whole thing in one night, and it really gave me chills when I looked at it later. It's a really scary document in a ways. And I didn't actually finish it entirely. I shared the unfinished document with some of the people I was closest to in the order. But then, like a day or so later, I totally regretted sending that to them, and I asked them, please delete that document. Don't ever look at it again. And I said, I'm shutting down the order. I'm sorry. And as soon as I did that, there were these two people who wrote to me almost at the same time, but they were two people that didn't know each other. They weren't friends, and they wrote to me with almost identical requests to take over the order. They said, please don't shut it down, or if you're going to, then let me run it instead. But they both used very queer language, and I could tell, and almost identical. I could tell they were both being possessed, basically, and forced to do this. That the demon did not want to shut the order down, and was possessing them and trying to get them to stop me. Basically, what I'm saying is, like, I had created something that could very much have done something very dangerous with, and I only realized that just as I was about to do something very dangerous with it. So I shut it down right at the right time to stop that. And then I've just been sitting on all this information since then, developing some of it, but I didn't know what to do with it, and ended up writing this book. I'm sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, it's just, it's so similar to what happened to Aleister Crowley with his wife, channeling the Book of the Law, and then opening this Aeon of Horus, and now this is the ultimate influence on our pop culture. When you're talking about Baphomet attempting to possess or even, take over this whole situation, we see all these references coming through our pop stars such as Beyonce and Lady Gaga and everybody putting up Baphomet and the OTO.
I almost wonder if I and some of the other people who were publishing stuff at the same time had something to do with that, because I do not believe that Beyonce and all these other people are members of any. At most, maybe they're members of the OTO, and the OTO will take anybody. I
don't see high level meetings with Beyonce being told what to sing about, or definitely not that level. But this level of like you're saying of just kind of influencing the situation, as Baphomet told you in his Ouija readings, that he would influence these situations by being different characters, or right.
I guess what I was saying was I wonder if when I published, what was it, Solomon's Treasure, 2005, I published this book about alchemy and money. And that was at the time the only thing I could think of to do with just a part of the information I had gotten from Baphomet. That was some of the stuff I was able to corroborate and write a nonfiction book about, because he had told us a lot of stuff about money and alchemy. And so... And also, about how it somehow connects to him, that Baphomet it kind of is the embodiment of that alchemical transformative power of the universal agent that can transform base metal into gold. And that is the role that money plays in society, And so Baphomet, in a way, is that power. And you can say that the alchemical nature of the modern economy, the way it's structured, really, I think, was inspired by Baphomet. And, that goes all the way back to the fact that the Templars invented the credit system. And the Templars, of course, they said in their confessions after they got disbanded by the church and the French monarchy that they got rich because of Baphomet. That's why they worshipped him, because he made them rich. His wisdom made them rich. And I think it was basically he told them how to set up a credit system.
And, of course, the Baphomet of the Templars was more a talking head than the goat-headed beast of Eliphas Levi.
Exactly. But there was goats were used in the rituals. And
I've seen the riding goats of the Masons. Have you seen? They got a little wheel. Sorry, it's a chuckle at that, but just this idea of them wheeling themselves around on a goat. But this still comes straight today. We're talking about this ancient ritual, and here it is still being enacted. Absolutely, the goat is part of this ritual.
Yeah. So, and actually, I think connecting the goat head to Baphomet probably goes back to the beginning too. There was this book called The Mysteries of Baphomet Revealed, but in Latin. It was a book that was written in like several different languages. I mean, the book itself had like 5 different languages in it, and the title was in Latin. It was written by this guy named Joseph von Hammer-Purgstall, an Orientalist, Viennese guy from the 1800s. And this is really the source for where Eliphas Levi got a lot of his ideas and where a lot of the lore about Baphomet comes from. A lot of people think that his book is not reliable. I'm not so sure it's as reliable as anything. There's not a lot of information about this subject, so you kind of have to go to Purgstall for some of the information. And what he had in his book, amongst other things, was some of the images that he said actually came from Templar properties that seemed to have cultic and Gnostic connections. And actually he reproduced some of these things in the book. They're obviously Gnostic. And one of them was this being with a goat head, and another is someone definitely a kind of hermaphroditic being standing in a position kind of similar to Baphomet. So I think that all the imagery that Eliphas Levi used, he thought it was based on something the Templars were doing, and it may very well have been. And he also considered that there's an esoteric stream happening of information where people who are initiated into the secrets of Baphomet, they're going to maybe be told exactly what the images are they should be using in their rituals and what type of rituals to do, as we were. I mean, I was told specific rituals to do, and we did them. I was told a specific design for the Ouija board to do. And the design actually incorporated this thing called the Atbash cipher, which involves inverting the alphabet. So that's how we displayed the alphabet on the Ouija board that Baphomet told us to design. And it turned out, I didn't realize this at the time, but as it turned out, we didn't realize when we were rearranging the alphabet that it was this Atbash cipher. And that the Atbash cipher is something that's been associated with the Templars for a long time. This is how you can encode the word Sophia or wisdom to come out to be Baphomet. So I'm just saying, my point is just that Eliphas Levi and the Rosicrucians, Crowley, and the OTO people, they all could very well be continuing the real tradition of the Templars and Baphomet, even if there's no real historical connection between them and the Templars. Because all you have to do is talk to Baphomet, and he will tell you what to do. And he can pass that, what do you call it, the magical current.
Right.
That's how you get a legitimate connection to an order from the past, is a magical current. It's not necessarily that you have to get a piece of paper signed by the last Grand Master of that order. It's that you have to get a legitimate contract, basically, with the outer head or the demon that's really the head of that order. If you can connect with the same demon that was running some order from the past, then you can reignite it. You have the right then to do that if you talk to the demon yourself personally.
Well, that answers Sorry?
I said I think that's what's going on sometimes.
Well, that answers one of the bigger questions of the New World Order as we watch these old men that are obviously going to die off, and many have already died off in the creation of a New World Order, why the plan would continue on in a straight line when the heads keep falling off, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that explains a lot of things, actually, and it's really the only place to look if you want to avoid driving yourself crazy, actually. I think it's more crazy to look for a human conspiracy to explain all of the coincidences that occur. When you look at history, you look at current events, you notice symbolism, you notice of the same things happening over and over again, and you think, oh, well, it must be that they're all in on it together. But then you think about it more, and that doesn't really make sense, does it? It doesn't, and they're not in on it together. It's just that they're all being inspired by the same thing.
Well, currently, ISIS is on the lips of everyone, and I understand ISIS to be an archetypal magical force, if not the very goddess of magic, and relates. What do you have to say on the ISIS side of this situation?
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's interesting that they're called that.
It was just that you were talking about currents of magic, and I thought perhaps that this was a current they were trying to really activate at this moment.
They may be. It's a little bit vague as to why, right? I mean, why are they connecting it to ISIS specifically? I don't know, but it's something dark, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, it keeps relating back to this gates of hell, and we've got Siri, which, as Clyde Lewis was saying, was obviously Sirius, which actually is Sothis, which is ISIS, and Siri saying about the gates of Hades opening, and then we have them saying we're going to chase ISIS to the gates of hell. This is getting pretty strange.
Well, this is exactly, I didn't want to go too far afield here mentioning this, but this is something that I had mentioned on my website, is that, the imagery associated with what's going on in Iraq right now, I think really does bring that up. This is what people think of when they see it. They think of the gates of hell opening, literally. And also the other prep work that's been laid for the last few years of the zombie apocalypse and stuff like that, in a way, people are expecting this kind of stuff. And then that's kind of what it is, because this army, the ISIS people, they're really crazy. And, I don't know if younger members of the audience especially really realize this, but this is way more hardcore even than the terrorists of the past, even the terrorists that did 9/11. This is kind of really extreme stuff. And you can tell that these people we know the leaders of ISIS are all people that have been released from Gitmo after years of torture and who knows what kind of brainwashing and hypnotism. And of course, so who knows what's been done to their brains while they were at Gitmo. And before that, they were members of Al-Qaeda. And also before they went rampaging through Iraq, they were in Syria. Both Al-Qaeda and then the Syrian rebels and the ISIS people that were part of the rebellion in Syria, those were all people being trained by U.S. intelligence and military contractors that, as we know, are knee-deep in all of this really sinister torture, mind control stuff. And, so lo and behold, these people have been through these extreme, torture, mind control training sessions first when they were terrorists working at the behest of CIA. Then they went through this torture and mind control at Gitmo after they got caught, and then they got released. I guess what I'm saying is, who knows? It's almost for sure, actually, that they have been programmed to do what they're doing by intelligence, basically, American intelligence. And the other thing is that, they might be on drugs or something. I mean, the way they're acting, I wonder if they're on something. But yeah, I think basically this is you could think of it as a mind-controlled demonic horde of zombies that has been released all over the Middle East, rampaging, cutting off heads, and threatening the West to do the same over here. And yeah, okay, so back to Baphomet. It does connect.
Okay.
Because, and Cain. Okay.
That's
we
what I
talked
was
to Cain
right.
not too long ago about this subject. Actually, around the end of July, because these topics about the gates of hell, the fact that the subject kept coming up in headlines around that time made me think, well, I wonder if there's something to this, And actually, quite a lot of the messages we've received from Cain and Baphomet were about hell. I mean, that's where they are, and they've said as much. So, and they've talked about the apocalypse and end times and how they're going to be released on Earth, basically, and they think they're going to create some kind of empire on Earth, and then also eventually they think they're going to defeat God somehow. They really think they're going to win somehow. But at any rate, so yeah, we asked Cain literally 3 weeks ago. We said, is there anything to this about the gates of hell opening? And he said, yes, that has happened. And I said, when? And he said, 16 days ago. So the date doesn't exactly coincide with what Siri said about when the gates of Hades would open, but it's off by literally just a few days. So, Cain, for what it's worth, is saying that actually the gates of hell have opened, and some of the demons, not all of them, but some of them have been released and come out, and there's more to come, and that's part of what's going on here, actually, that current events are a result of that. So if you can see how more and more insane this whole thing is becoming every day. I mean, you've got hordes of diseased people rushing the border down south, and you've got apparently 3,000 troops being sent to Africa to, I don't know, shoot sick people that are trying to escape hospitals. I don't know what exactly they're going to do over there. And then you've got this stuff going on in Iraq and Syria. It does seem like you could equate it with the gates of hell opening, I think.
I think you really could. And they're constantly throwing out these type of references. I think it's so that the Brotherhood themselves can actually catch on that this is part of, say, maybe Baphomet or Satan's plan. But like the Sirius Star was another one. This boat that drew in the piracy of the Sirius Star, drew in every nation into the Gulf of Persia. We have some strange magnetic anomaly opening there. At that point, there was a cardinal, an Ethiopian cardinal, that was announcing that he was going to show the world the Ark of the Covenant after he talked to the Pope about it, of course. And then, then the Pope exonerated the Knights Templar right at that point.
Yeah.
And we have all this crazy stuff going on underwater and in that Gulf of Persia area. And this, I guess, was still some of the extended area of Cain's kingdom, right? And does all of this play into what's happening now?
It could. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going to happen here. I know, okay, here's what Cain told us about his kingdom. Was that Eden apparently was a larger landmass in the beginning, and then there was basically a part of it that the actual tree of life was, and also this thing called the Ark that was like the container of all the treasures of the kingdom, and really the treasure that it contained was this sort of what I've described, the alchemical power, the power of God, really, the power to transform things, creative power. So there was this awesome treasure, basically, in the center of Eden that was, whoever had control of that was the king, had control over everything. It gave power over everything. It gave the godlike power, if you had that, the Ark. And it was in the center of Eden. And as was this, what's being described as tree of life, the fruit of life. And so what he said happened was basically that there was this kingdom at one point. And then there was he kind of described it as he said it was the same as Atlantis. And he said it was kind of like an empire, really, that there was this one main kingdom and there was a bunch of, member states, basically. And at one point there was a rebellion from some of the member states that they wanted to break away, and then they actually tried to usurp the throne of Eden and take all of these treasures. And that he was the king at the time, or he would have been the rightful king, and these other people, the people running the subject nations, were actually his children, descendants of his. So it was sort of a interfamily battle happening, and that literally a war broke out. And he became so angry when he was fighting this war against his own children who were rebelling to try to take the throne of Eden, He became so angry that he did something, some sort of alchemical, magical ritual, basically. He called it the Wrath of Cain. And this is, whatever it was, I don't know exactly, but it caused the majority of the landmass of what had been Eden or Atlantis to sink beneath the waves. And he died during this. A whole, majority of the rest of the population died. He said that this is what was remembered as the fall of Atlantis and also the flood and the fall of Eden. Like all of these events were the same thing, really, he said. And that he actually said the game of chess is based on this event. And he said there was originally this game called a Geo that has been forgotten now, but this was the original game that chess was based on. He told us all about how to play this game, actually. We have a lot of the information for how to recreate the game. And actually a lot of his information panned out as to the actual history of chess, what's known about chess and how it came about. It's not entirely known. Historians don't entirely know how it came about, but there are some traces, information about sort of the prototypes of what chess was, and that information that he gave us turned out to match up exactly with what historians do know about it. So it was pretty interesting. And he said that Geo actually has a magical ability of its own. It's like a little ritual you do, basically, with the pieces being like little voodoo dolls. And when you move them about and you play the game exactly in the right way, that it has this magical power that you can actually affect reality by playing this game. So that was all kind of interesting. I wish I could use that power somehow to do something. Make something happen,
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I thought I'd mention that because you were talking about all of these locations, interesting locations on the planet where all these things are happening right now. And a lot of these places are basically right around where Eden used to be. And, Eden also supposedly is underneath the waves of the Persian Gulf and some of these areas. So, I don't know. Cain said that he's still definitely very interested in following the actions of his own children, his descendants, the ones that are alive still. And so it seems like the demons, they take some sort of interest in human activities and trying to coordinate them. And I think in general, they're trying to get people doing what I was doing, people who are actually communicating with them, to do their bidding, basically, to make certain events happen on Earth that will, in whatever way, some, I think, magical way, affect reality to actually open up this gate to let them out of Hades, and then, which may have already happened, apparently.
Right.
It seems like it may have already happened. So that's what I think is going on. And at this point, actually, I'm kind of part of the reason why I wanted to write this book and get it out there is because I really want to do more of this, actually, and I want to close the gap between me and the public here. I want to be able to put this information out as soon as I get it, to tell people what Cain and Baphomet are telling us these days, because it seems like they could shed a lot of light on current events and also on some of the topics that I'm studying right now. So I'm kind of looking to do this more regularly, and I think I might start putting videos on the YouTube channel that I've got, where I'll tell people right away about seances we've had that had interesting results. And hopefully, if I can get a decent camera, I've got some cameras, but they're not very good. So when I can get the proper equipment, I would like to just be able to videotape the sessions and basically have a YouTube show telling people what we're getting from the demons these days.
Right, that would be fantastic. And the way it's set up now, we could all go live, and you could even, if you wanted to, have a massive live broadcast of your reading.
Yeah, why not? Okay, so you mentioned the weird stuff about the Book of the Law. I hate Aleister Crowley, and I hate Anton LaVey, although I have to reluctantly admit that I ended up, I have throughout my life ended up using some of their stuff, and they're both mentioned in this book. I hate both those guys so much. But so there were a lot of weird coincidences with this book. Okay, Clock Shavings. I published it. I submitted it to the printer on my birthday, and that was an accident. It was meant to be submitted a couple weeks earlier, but various things ended up delaying it. And so when I finally submitted it, like a few minutes after submitting it, I realized, oh my goodness, it's my birthday. And it's not only my birthday, but it's also Johann von Goethe's birthday, who's the guy who wrote Faust. So if that means anything to you. But then there's the numerological things, okay? Like there ended up being 418 pages. Now, I didn't plan that. That's just what happened. And I'm talking all the way down to the line. Like the last line, if I had spaced one more line, it would have gone over to the next page. So there's 418 pages in this, which just so happens to be a number that at least Aleister Crowley said is associated with Baphomet and with the magical power of Baphomet, specifically with the word abrahadabra, the magic word, that it comes out Kabbalistically to equal 418. In addition to that, I realized yesterday this book is 8 inches by 5 inches, and of course 8 plus 5 is 13, which is a number very much connected to Baphomet. There's 13 chapters that I planned, of course. And then there's, the width of the spine even is 0.93 inches. And of course, the number 93 is something that Aleister Crowley people care about. He said it had something to do with the current aeon.
The number of Thelema.
Yeah, okay, well. And like I said, I'm so over Aleister Crowley. I really, I'm sick of him and people that quote him. But I couldn't ignore when these numbers popped up. They definitely are connected somehow. And of course, OTO is a Baphometic order. And Aleister Crowley even called himself Baphomet as like his title as the leader of the OTO.
Right. And
there was also, when we were running Ordo Lapsat Exilis, there seemed to be almost maybe not an infiltration. But that's kind of what I was afraid it was there was a lot of OTO people that were involved. And I kind of got the feeling that, they wanted to take it over or maybe just find out what we knew, that we had a connection to the same being that they were connected to, and they could feel that, and they wanted to know what exactly we knew. So I've always kind of felt like OTO's breathing down my neck here. And so it was interesting when those numbers popped up in the book. I know that this maybe sounds kooky, but I almost don't believe anything is a coincidence anymore,
Oh, I hear you. The idea of channeling a disembodied entity may seem very foreign to us, but it seems that within the elite, this is a common practice. Is this what's going on behind locked doors as secret societies gather and perform strange rituals? Are they receiving communication or even influence from entities such as Baphomet or even Cain? Well, we're going to keep digging deeper here on the Free Zone, so I hope you'll join us in the members section as Tracy Twyman starts to unfold the world behind the scenes that may be guiding our celebrities like Beyonce or even our president and other world leaders. So please tune in, subscribe today, go over to Freeman.